Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be in the world. Welcome to TraderTV.Live. North American stock futures, little changed at this point this morning, coming off the best single-day performance for the S&P since back in June yesterday. Big moves to the upside. Unlike the past couple of weeks where tech stocks were lagging, we finally saw some of the big-name tech stocks get back into the rally and move to the upside. Apple, Nvidia, Netflix even had really nice day. Some of the stay-at-home stocks, Peloton as well, moving around, heading towards Zoom earnings. We had Zoom earnings after market yesterday. Absolute blowout report for Zoom. We'll talk about that coming up. Facebook was up 2.8% yesterday. Tesla 6% yesterday. Tesla shares already positive here in the pre-market this morning. We'll talk about that. A couple of the retailers reporting pre-market here. Target shares moving around. We had Kohl's as well and Macy's with a little bit of news. So we'll talk about some of the retailers coming up as well. Should be an interesting morning. It's Tuesday, March 2nd, 2021. TraderTV.Live starts now. There we go. Look at Asian markets from the overnight session. You can see China to the downside, 1+% for both the Nifty and Korea, though. India and Korea both 1% higher, offsetting. So a bit of a mixed story here. Let's go over to Europe, see how things are shaping up. In Europe, mostly positive right across the board. Just Italy to the downside so far. We'll shift over one more time. Have a look at North America. Yeah, we're a little changed, a little bit of negativity here, but it is getting better by the minute. TSX futures here in Toronto flat. We have Brazil open trading sharply lower. Bitcoin, crude, and gold all positive, but smaller moves for all three of those for the first time in as long as I can remember. Bitcoin basically flat, guys, but a move to the upside overnight. We're back towards that 50,000 level once again for Bitcoin.
Good morning, everybody. Stabilizing around that 50,000 mark. It's interesting that like 48.5 to I guess mid 49 range, providing some stabilization. So it's not all volatility all the time. You're going to see the NASDAQ is flat, but just let's keep in mind the push that we did have. And yesterday, the NASDAQ performing incredibly well. So the fact that we pulled back from overnight tops and are basically sitting break even isn't necessarily a negative sign. We might talk a little bit about Operation Twist, which hasn't happened in a while, but could, the Fed's talking about it, so could actually stabilize the markets. It's a wild one. You do have some earnings, and we'll get to NEO as well. Sean's rocket is rocketing to the upside. Really don't have a good pun for that, a better pun for that. Got to do something along those lines. The science fiction guy should know better than that. And we'll be watching C3 AI, which going in the other direction there, Sean, after their earnings. So a bit of a disappointment there for C3 AI. It wasn't all bad, but some signs of weakness. Maybe not enough growth than the market was expecting.
I told Robbie that I'd hit this, so let's do this. What do you guys think about this one?
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Oh, man.
Flying sausage right in Neil's head there. Look, Rocket's been impressive, guys. I mean, up 16% again today, up 40% since we made the call. I've been buying this one hand over fist for a while now. I actually started buying in October, November. I got Greg in it over here, a couple of our friends as well, and hopefully you guys. So Rocket today continues to go up. And now, finally now, we've only been talking about this thing since October, November. And now we're finally running. So it's been dead money for a while. Now we get Wall Street bets. We get everybody over there. And what was that? Okay, we'll do it again just so you guys can see. Yeah, apparently, I wanted a hot dog cannon, and this is what we got. So there it is there. It's like I'm firing off this like lame ass hot dog. But it's fun. I prefer obviously the real hot dog cannon, and we'll fire those off as well at some point. There it is. Here's me going crazy. Look, we're super happy with this rocket play. We haven't maxed out. We talked about that. We were flat. I was able to get out for flat on our last Friday calls because it only moved at 11 or 12% off of earnings. And then we got that dollar. Not only, this is the thing, like we own shares and we're options. So the thing is, we also got that $1.11 special dividend coming as well. So here's Rocket. I didn't think we would get to this high this fast, but now we have some Wall Street bets fuel behind it. And it looks like, 29, 30 area should be some kind of resistance because we've been up here before, especially this area, 29, 38 or so should be something, but we'll wait to see. This could get going. I would say again, like I'm always saying, You know, pigs get slaughtered. We all like to be a little piggish, though. I probably won't get out of these calls. It looks like they could run a little bit more. We'll see what happens today. But Rocket with the fuel, guys. And for right now, we're just spinning it because it looks like this will be a profitable trade. But we don't want to count our chickens before they hatch, especially if they have pink hair, Valeria.
Is in the building, obviously. We'll get to Ms. V coming up here in a second. Yeah, Rocket, a big move. It's interesting how that was a little bit of a delayed reaction coming in after earnings last week. Speaking of Ms. V, let's get over to the desk and say good morning to her.
Good morning, Brandon, and hi, guys. Let's have another great day together. Please enjoy the show and don't forget to hit thumbs up. Let's get it started, Brandon.
Let's indeed get it started, guys. I want to talk a little bit about these reopening type plays. Once again, this morning we're seeing a few of them to the upside, being helped a little bit by travel names once again. We did have a few of the cruise ship operators yesterday coming out with offerings, but we did see overall strength in the group once again yesterday. What are we looking at today, guys, as far as some reopening plays? There was obviously some earnings in the retail group that we should talk about.
Yeah, well, the discussion yesterday was a little bit about, you know, whether you like Target or whether you like a Walmart. I mean, I don't know. Target's actually sitting here flat on the day. If you talk about whippy action, it's probably not going to be the biggest day trade in the world, but at least it looks much better on the chart than Walmart. And if you look at Walmart, they've sort of been in this sort of deep pullback here. And if you're looking here now at the successful, well, somewhat successful rollouts, at least in the U.S., of the vaccinations and people getting out and about a little bit, I tend to think that leisure travel is going to be the way to go. But you can't forget about the fact that people have been saving money and have more money to spend. In this particular case, I kind of like both Walmart and Target along those lines. I just think it's going to be a bit of a boring day trade stock. This is more a situation. If you had some, you could actually be picking, you know, you could be picking up like the 187 here because it hasn't really ramped up, or you could just be waiting for pullbacks. That's what was attractive about Walmart for me. Yesterday, and I do apologize for this because I'm pretty sure that I said it was RCL and NCL in Norwegian, Brendan, and NCLH was raising debt, I believe, and RCL was a share offering. So I actually had a long in RCL yesterday, thinking it would have a secondary push. And you guys saw that one around, you know, just after like that 10:30 hump or whatnot, it pulled back in. Thought we'd get a secondary push. Basically didn't go anywhere. Took out those bottoms and showed a little bit of weakness. But we're back, essentially back to the upside. So I still want to say that for now the offering has been received pretty well. We're holding the line at this 92, which is exactly where I had the long yesterday. That lost like 30 cents on that one. So I'm still looking at this particular name. Now, unfortunately, it only does 30,000 shares in the pre-market right now. You're not seeing a ton of liquidity, 50-cent spread. But if there's a chance to catch a 92, you know, when the volume starts to come in, it seems like there's some gravity around that price, just sort of hugging it towards that range. And if we're going to get a further push in some of the recovery names, you know, RCL seems like it would have at least a little bit of support at that 92. You know, other than that, I really do feel like today you look at some of those earnings plays and they could be a little bit more enticing. I'm not saying that reopens is going to run out of steam. It's been a strong one already, but you're seeing tech catch up. And like we talked about, or like I mentioned a little bit earlier, it's just even threatening Operation Twist is something that I think is going to be a positive overall for the broad market, and then maybe a strong headwind for some of these tech stocks, which has sort of been lagging a little bit.
Okay, yeah, I want to talk about, I think there's another opportunity here. Although this stock is running like crazy, you want to talk about some retail. I think American Eagle, that reports tonight, AEO. We like that name. I think this is going to be a runner here, especially with the reopen play. We talked about that over and over again. This had a bottom of just $6. Like even in the summertime, man, like $9, $10. But look at this resurgence of stock here. AEO, American Eagle Outfitters. I definitely, you know, I like. Let me see if I can find a daily chart here for you. Okay, that's the 1 minute chart. So that was let's see what it's doing right now today. Yesterday faded back to 26.21. Yeah. So you know what? On the daily chart, I mean, this is going crazy. For some reason, I was trying to get it. Okay, there it goes. Now it's reloading just to see what that bottom was back there in March. It was $6, $7, all the way back to 27 and change. I mean, we're even way higher than pre-pandemic levels. So something must be going right here at AEO. So we're going to find out if this is possibly another options play. I mean, the volume's only 500 shares today, so it's nothing right now, but this could be another runner. I like AEO. I mean, as opposed to Walmart, Look, I mean, I got my money in Walmart when it broke through $100, but I didn't get any out, and I didn't average in. I didn't do anything on the high side. But I do think that this has faded in way too much right now, this Walmart trade. I mean, I like this as a bid down here. I mean, it's held 130 a couple times. I think it's a wise investment to put some of this away for 20 years from now. It should be a little bit higher than where it is now. You know, not a big dividend payer, nothing like that at all. But you know what? I think Walmart's a good play. Target, though, today off that miss. I mean, miss or not, I mean, it's only up 0.7%. So I would say they probably missed on what people were expecting there. I think it had an implied move of about 4% if you looked at the options. And it's hovering around the high side as well. I don't know. I'm a little nervous about retail just because it's been blasted off so much. But if you want to take a risk, I do like AEO tonight for a chance to really show something.
All right, guys, want to have a look at Lemonade shares here. We talked about it at the end of last year. Recent addition, Lemonade here in the insurance group, 6.5% to the downside off of earnings. This was, I mean, they reported, I think it was 520 yesterday. It was a little bit later on aftermarket, so not showing the action aftermarket. But down here this morning, Neil, you were watching Lemonade a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of always watching Lemonade, and it's one of those, it made some sense to me at 70, and I loved it. And I remember telling you guys that I felt, and of course, it's just in my own opinion that it had made a top, you know, around that like 160 area, and it was time to walk away from that stock. And the interesting thing about this company, I don't want to get too long-winded about it, but they have a unique sort of model where they take 25% premium. They sell to reinsurers. So one number that you want to watch in their metrics is going to be their gross loss ratio, which I think was 72 last quarter, 73%. Either way, those reinsurers they're selling to are losing money above like that 75%. So if that creeps above 75, it's a bad sign for them. They have to renegotiate those deals all the time. Their growth was okay, so it wasn't necessarily a blowout. I want to call it a mixed bag, which on a mixed bag in this particular market, you're going to get sold off. I mean, it was a much better report there with the C3AI, and you know their growth is not nearly as what the market was expecting. So I actually like the 100 area. I sort of talked about 100 to 105 previously. If it got down to that price, you know, I'm a buyer in Lemonade. When they had the lockup expiration at the end of the year, you did have this peak here at about 136, 137, and then it pulled right into this 105 area, bounced off 100. So I think that's probably going to be that line in the sand support. When it comes to day trading it, again, it doesn't really do a ton of volume. And I was mentioning this with Sean. Like the spread's always pretty big. If you have like a really solid level to play off of, I think usually you're okay. If there's going to be any kind of a big sell-off, and keep in mind, they actually have their conference call right now, so I wouldn't be trading this unless you're listening to that call. If it does tip down to like that 113, I was kicking myself at the opportunity when we had that little mini flash crash and treasury, whatever you want to call it, that massive flush on the 23rd. There was a chance there, so I think that would be the only level I would test today. I don't want to be necessarily long in the stock. I would probably be fading it off of 135 if it got there. It just feels to me that the Lemonade, in likelihood, should be selling off a little bit off these numbers. You know, I absolutely could be wrong. In some ways, I guess I bet that it goes up, but I'd like to see it dip down so we can get 100 on that one.
Okay, I just looked up here, American Eagles. Yeah, someone mentioned about the short float. I mean, that's part of why we talk about some of these names as well. You know, you get short float. I can't believe DraftKings is going to be around $70. That's incredible. Okay, so there's AEO, 14% short. I think that's well worth it as far as the trading possibility. I just want to see what DraftKings was now that we're talking about it. They don't have it there. What's CCL's float right now as well? 7%. What's Tesla's float? 6%. Okay. Yeah. So some of these names. Oh, you know what we'll talk about here because we're going to get to NEO very, very soon. No float short right now, only 3.97%. But NEO continues, guys, to get crushed. We will do that in a minute. There is a 500,000 shares sell order down 6% today. There's Palantir with a bio. That's nice to see with the market just making a little bit of a move down here. So we will get to that and what we're going to be doing shortly, guys. If you haven't signed up, man, I mean, our website, TraderTV.Live, hit it up. This is where the watch list is. I was going to say imbalance locator. It's not here. This is where the watch list is. We have it there. Rocket's going to be coming up soon. Square with some news. Neo. There's C3 AI. Lemonade's not on here, but we just discussed it. Target and a bunch of other ones. NNVC. So if there's any names, wow, NNVC 123%. Okay. I didn't even look at our own watch list there all the way down. But why does it say Roku shares here when it says NNVC? But maybe we fix that. That is our watch list, guys. Make sure you hit that up. It's completely free, and it's helped so much with my trading and where to focus. So I think that's something you guys need to look at.
Interesting. Let's talk about XPEV, guys. Yeah, Neo talking about demand slowing in the coming quarters. So, I mean, the report overall not bad, but they were talking about a little bit less demand also being hurt on the production side of things by the global chip shortage. So we are going to get to Neo, guys. I want to talk about XPEV first because this entire group is under big time pressure here today. 5% to the downside for XPEV. Can look at Li Auto as well. It looks very similar. I bring up this one because if you look at the daily chart here, we're at a significant level for XPeng. Earnings for this one next Monday, aftermarket, guys.
We've in the past, of course, my daily. There we go. Actually, it does want to load up there, that daily chart. In the past, I've sort of looked at this one as the short vehicle for me. Vehicle, bad pun intended. The short vehicle for me once this entire space starts to come off here. Now, of course, and not having reported those earnings, and I look at Neo right on those lows. If we are to break down through these levels, and I'm looking at like 32, looks like a 32.80. And the problem with this, and well, I'm going to throw out that low and maybe look at like the 33 even on something like an XPEV, and maybe do that with some of these other names, is just remember what happened on the 23rd. You know, when you have a levy break like that to the downside, and you get these wick bottoms, which are literally $2 in a span of a few minutes there, and then we come right back. Essentially, where it turns is not necessarily going to be a massive level. There's likely support beneath that price. So sometimes it's a little bit more informative to find something with a little bit more volume behind it and maybe a little more juice to it. That's why I would look at that 33 on XPEV. I'm probably going to focus on Neo. Particularly just because I think the volume is going to be a little bit better. It's done about 4.5 times the volume currently. But that XPEV 33 bottom certainly looks like it's going to be an interesting one. This name, obviously, has been relatively weak. The entire Chinese EV space, at least for these three names, Li Auto, XPEV, and NIO, had been in this like downward trend and can't seem to get out of their way. And let's keep in mind, like we always talk about these three, and no one ever talks about BYD, which outsells all of them. In China, right? So there's competition outside of just Tesla. I mean, BYD's kicking their butts as it is, and that's the Berkshire-backed EV company. So you know, I'm not saying that this is all negative here, but certainly for XPEV, I'll be looking at that bottom break. Although I look at Neo and it's right on those pre-market lows, trying to bounce right now. That 46.50 looks pretty interesting to me on Neo as well.
Yeah, look, I mean, we are going to get to Neo, but I mean, XPeng is not going to survive. I mean, I don't know. I'm not in China, and I don't really know the difference between the different cars and whatnot and how they're all selling. But I mean, if Neo's going to warn of a slower quarter coming, this is apparently a downturn here in the Chinese market for electric vehicles. And I mean, I'm just looking at some of the Neo numbers. Their loss was wider than expected, so they're going to continue to get hit. And if they're going to get hit, then so are the weaker partners like an XPEG, like the Li Auto there. And then plus, you have Tesla moving in, Ford, GM. I mean, everybody's getting into the electric space right now. Volkswagen selling more electric vehicles in Europe than they could have thought. I like Volkswagen for a play as well. But here's Neo. We're right at these levels. I'd hate to say it. It's very similar to that XPeng level as well. $40. I mean, if you can get down to 40, then I think that we're talking about something here. 40 was sort of where we kicked off all the fun on the rip to 65 there. We broke through 40. We never really looked back. We touched it a couple times. I know that's far away. We're at 47, so I don't think we hit that today. But for a today kind of trade, yeah, I mean, bottom wick a couple days ago on Friday was 44.19. I remember getting destroyed going long at that point. So, no, we did well going long there, but we got destroyed averaging into that long, and that's the day chart there. So if we call up here a minute chart, a nice little move off of 50. Nope, that's not the right one. There it is. Downside here. I was going to say a nice little move off 46.50, but I mean, it's still 47, 48. I think we got to wait for that 45 to hit. And then again, it's very, very light here this morning. Not too much on here. We know about Rocket. We've talked about that, and NEO. So these aren't heavy. So I'm just wondering about the trading volumes coming through. NEO is definitely, let's see if it makes a bottom, and then I'm going to be looking long if this market rebounds.
All right, guys, so it looks like there is a bit of an issue with the data on the watch list this morning. So we are going to refresh it. Valeria is going to send it out once again. So in about 2 or 3 minutes, hit refresh on the website and it should be updated. But there is one story that didn't copy correctly for some strange reason. Speaking of the website, if you haven't done so and you're looking for it, make sure you head over to that link and sign up for it. Absolutely free. Every single day we get it out to you before we come on at 8:30. So head over to that link if you need it. Once again, Valeria will help you out in the chat. Let's get into what's moving around, guys, in the pre-market this morning. Zoom going to be the first one we talk about. A big move, both aftermarket and this morning. Once again, up about 8% last I checked. Blowout quarter right across the board here for Zoom. I guess to be expected in some sense, though.
Yeah, I guess you could say. I mean, I guess you could say that the numbers were certainly impressive for Zoom there, and you know, as Brendan mentioned, you know, if you can follow along, I know we just mentioned that some of the data was a little bit incorrect, but most of it is good. So if you are following along, you can get the details on the particulars of the report on our watch list on the website, guys. Now, Zoom in particular, and the only reason why I'm going to be looking at a potential fade today is you look at this daily chart here, and I do feel like it was already primed on any kind of a moderate run to run into this resistance at that 450 mark. Zoom is facing increased competition. They do have a leg up. Of course, they're the early mover. I think that's fantastic. That's fantastic for them. But it's not necessarily going to be the meteoric rise that it had last year. And so, you know, continuing growth is going to be certainly a positive for them. And I think that's not going to be too much trouble. But as a day trade, you know, the history of some of these multi-day ridiculous runs we've seen Zoom do, I don't know if that's going to be the same thing going in the future here. So when I look at this in the daily and I see that 450 level, we did gap into it. And the reason I was showing you guys a minute chart is we did sort of not gap into it, run into it in the aftermarket here before trying to pull back, get to this 447. And every time I look at this, I guess consolidation and pre-market trading below that little, you know, ramp support price, whatever you want to call it, that earnings pullback price, it usually is a bit of a bearish sign. And when it gets to that mark, and right now we're looking at 447 to 450, like I mentioned, you know, if it can't punch through at the open, oftentimes these are the best prices that you will see. And I start thinking gap fill. And filling in like $5, $10 worth of the gap is fantastic from a day trading perspective. Zooming in here, I mean, I'm just looking. I was going to have like a 435 breakdown trade, but you know, that kind of got thrown out the window when this got taken out, and then we snapped right back. That happens early in the morning. I'll throw out that level. And now I'm looking to fade off of 47 to 50. I think you can maybe take a 450 break if it goes there. In the middle, I probably don't want to touch it. Now, I just feel like in this particular environment for the tech companies, there's a decent chance that there's more upside, if you want to call it that, with the rollover short. And if I can catch that with that resistance from 47 to 50, that will be my particular play on Zoom. And this all despite the fact, and I mentioned this whole talk of Operation Twist. The Fed's not doing it, but this would be them buying long-term, outdated bonds and then selling short-term with the same amount. So balance sheet doesn't go up. That's a good thing, but it was flatten the yield curve, right? So that would put all those concerns about those 10-year yields, 7-year going to the upside. That should flatten it out without them actually increasing their balance sheet. That would be solid for tech companies, although I think some of that is already built in the last couple of days here. Just them even threatening it, I think, is a good sign. Either way, I'm likely to be fading Zoom off of that 50 level.
Yeah, so Zoom's not, I mean, obviously you guys know this. I mean, Zoom's not going anywhere. I think a lot of people are using Zoom now forever. I don't think a lot of people will be even, unfortunately, I think it's sad because I think people need obviously some sort of a social aspect to their life. But, you know, Zoom just creates the opportunity for everybody. It's so simple. It's now a word that we, you know, identify with the product and with video conferencing. I mean, Google stepped into the place, so has Facebook. I mean, Skype has been here forever. WebEx is also another popular thing, but Zoom is also reaching out. They're doing, I mean, they have the video communication. They also have a phone thing happening as well. So look, I like it. I like it through 450. I like it through 455. Yesterday's closing price, obviously down here for 405. We did get as high as 455 yesterday, maybe 458 before coming in. So I think we can get back. 448, I think a definite long here through for me on Zoom. 448, 450 break, and I don't think you'll be wrong on that.
All right, guys, speaking of Zoom, let's have a look at upgrades and downgrades for the morning. Down here, yeah, Piper Sandler, 541 price target, up 7% as we saw. Otherwise, there's not a heck of a lot on the upgrade side that is terribly exciting. Wanted to mention this, though. Plug Power, we saw a couple of days in a row. Upgrades, price target increases. Plug Power to the downside finally today, off about 2% here in the pre-market. This on track as well. Cohen with a downgrade, 6% to the downside, guys.
Plug. Oh, I can't get out of its own way. Plug Power. It's actually finally making that move. Of course. Come on, chart. Give me a break. We finally made that move, pushing back to the upside plug. I'll show you the 15-minute here. If it loads the rest, that's fine. You can actually see it holding up at that top yesterday. There we go. So it made that move off of the bottom. I was looking to see if we could break through. And again, I don't know if the downgrade's gonna matter too much for me here, because realistically, plug and with a lot of these stocks, you get these downgrades, and that's a little bit late to that party. It was already in like a multi-week push back from those highs that you saw on the daily chart. So I'm still looking at this 53 level, and I was watching 53 yesterday for that fail break. It came through right at the open and then slammed right back down, and then retested, tried to close right near that 53, couldn't quite get there. So I'm still looking for that 53 break on plug, even though it got the downgrade. It'll only be a breakout trade for me. I wouldn't be buying the dip unless it was deeper into like the mid 40s or so. That would be a price worth getting into. But at some point, I like that momentum through at 53. And you're seeing it on the board there with the downgrade, maybe, and that pulls off that kind of a move for the next couple of days. But I'll wait patiently for it. I still like it on plug. It set up rather decently yesterday, but you had to get in and out very, very quickly because it didn't follow through. Let's see if we can't get that follow through some point in the next couple of days here. But that's definitely going to be on that list to watch.
Yes, just writing a note to everybody here. So AMC, yeah, look, I mean, Plug's been a good one. We talked about buying the dip there a little bit. I still like this AMC call here for through 950. I mean, yesterday we started to get going. I wonder if there is something. I'm going to probably just do a 3-minute chart here on AMC. I know there's a lot. I'm out of this. I don't own shares or calls anymore, but I wonder if it's getting ramped up again because we had a 950 spot couple days ago, I guess that was Monday to Friday, that we broke through. And we talked about this yesterday, and then we stopped out at 950 yesterday on the high side there. If GameStop continues to go, AMC, I know, like I showed you the short, I think it was 17%, something like that, shortable on AMC. And I just wonder if we could take out that 950, 940-ish, what is next? Do we get into the 10, 1020, 1030 range, and then so on and so forth from there? I keep saying this, man. I thought that was a great base down on AMC for the daily chart. Not here, right here, 550. I was a buyer down here, $2 before we started going parabolic. So that worked out well for me. But I also think that there is something to be said down here for 5.8. Not that you want to pay $9.50 for a stock that I think a fair value probably is down around 5 or 6. But it has that potential. It's tried a couple times up to 11.30 and then stopped. So I just look at it like a 9.50 break could get us back to 10.50, could get us back to 11. I still think that trading these, even though some of the volume has died down, we're less than 1 million shares today, I still think that you got to have something on watch here for AMC. So I'm always going to have that level 2 up and keep commenting on AMC because that's a good opportunity to get an instant winner, and it could move for you, especially if something comes out, somebody tweets something. You never know with these things. And then there still is, I don't believe it, but I still think there's at least a little bit of talk there with Amazon and some potential buyouts there. I mean, I don't believe it. It's just that could be something that does spark this once again if somebody does bring that story to the forefront once again.
Don, speaking of buyouts, remember there was actually that rumor of DraftKings in the score, which that could be interesting to follow through. I mean, if we're going to talk about AMC, Worth noting, if you were following yesterday, GameStop with a couple of strong moves a little bit later on in the session, like one that happened, right as we were basically right after we ended the show, and then it'll push through that 110 area, and then a big breakout at 120 going into the close. It gave literally everything back to that 120 break point. As we'll get to KXI, and I actually just got into that one to the short side there. That's on the watch list as well. But that 120 is going to be on alert for me one more time here now. The only caveat I'll say is most of the best action was later on in the session, so I think there's going to be some patience that has to be at play here. If you can catch, and I ended up missing the first shorts, at least the best shorts when it took out that 105, right about like 9:45 in the morning. So if we get the same thing at about 1:15, you could see one of those like quick $5, $10 moves to the downside, and then it made that low of the day. So I'll be looking for that pattern on GameStop, and then of course at some point today, I'm going to be liking that 120 break. The early breaks haven't been the best. I think patience on the up breaks there and maybe hunting for the downside early on GameStop before it makes a low could be the way that it happens. So 115 and 120, it's not rocket science. I mean, breaks at these $5 levels have been fantastic recently on GameStop. Yesterday, you had to wait for it a little bit, but it was still worth it.
Yeah, both of those a lot less active in the pre-market this morning. Good look there at relative strength in AMC once again today versus GameStop. Obviously, the reopen angle we were talking about with AMC as well, providing a little more strength. Let's have a little look at the overall market here. We'll figure out what levels we need to be aware of. Bring Arun in and talk about the futures, Arun. I mean, we're back to flat here, so a little bit better.
Yeah, flat, slightly on the negative side by 0.1%. It does seem like it's drifting us slightly to the upside, so I'm going to let it keep going at least until we get back down to 85 or so. If we can get below 85. Then I can potentially look at this as, the top end has been established with some sell action. For now, I'll keep the 15 in mind, but like I said, I'm going to let it drift at least until 85 goes. If 85 goes, then we can look at the potential shorts. Now, if we come back down, though, keep in mind yesterday when we broke out that 38.60, that was the breakout. We had to break. We had to come back in. We had to check. We got that. It was done, but it was done very quickly. So now that area will be for sure going to be some support down there. So down from 60 going down all the way to 50 or so. Stop on that is going to be 40. So you potentially look for some longs around the 60 mark with 40 as a stop. But for now, there's only two levels to work with. 39.15 on the top end, which is a high from yesterday. And then 39.40, which would be the stop from the 60 breakout yesterday. So we have two levels that are quite far apart here. And for now, we are drifting to the upside. So I'm going to either look for shorts, if we can get below 85 and then set up some shorts, potentially with the 15 as a stop. The second possibility is also if we get into the evens, the 3900s, and then set up a short, that's also a possibility. Now, if we come back down, you've got the potential longs in front of 39.60 with 38.60 with 38.40 as a stop.
Great stuff. Thanks so much, Arun. We'll check back in again tomorrow morning as we head towards the open here, guys. We are under 30 minutes to go before we get the market open. Okay, Sean, here we go. Rocket Companies up next. 2 days in a row here to the upside. Looking to continue Monday's move. Once again, there's no real significant news again today, just 2-day move to the upside.
Yeah, I mean, we've already had the significant news, and we had the earnings report. They came out. We told you they were going to beat that. I gave out the narrative about why. We talked about refinancing. We talked about how hot. This is still on DraftKings. Come on, chart. We talked about how hot that area was. We could see it with Toll Brothers. You could see it with a lot of the housing plays there that they can't even keep the houses in stock. And then now with Rocket Companies, of course, formerly Quicken Loans. They also have everything electronic, right? So you don't need to go in to see anybody. You don't need to see a banker or anything like that. So look, you know what? We like it. However, we are at a spot right now where I think there could be now a little bit of a pullback. I mean, that sounds crazy to say. We were just a couple days ago at 1950 there where we were talking about buying it. I've been buying it throughout here. My average price is 21.65. I looked that up yesterday, so 27 is pretty sweet. But yeah, now we have the Wall Street Bets crew involved with this stock. So I'm just wondering maybe that, I mean, not maybe, I mean, we're pretty sure that this is a little overextended right here just because of that. And now we get that bump to 28.60. We've seen this happen over and over again. We saw it happen on their earnings day where it went to 24.50, I believe, in the pre-market. We can try to find that. But yeah, here it is right here. This is the day here. This is Friday. We got up to 24.20, 25. And then look what happened when the market opened. This is how I lost on some of my calls. Well, not lost, broke even, but on some of the calls there on Friday because we couldn't get to that 23 again. So look what happened off open. They come out, they announce that $1.11 special dividend. They blow the numbers out of the water. They're up about 20% or so this day, and then just fades down the rest of the afternoon, sorry, the rest of the morning into 10:30, makes that bottom at 21.70. And then even as we continue to talk that day on Friday, look, it just kept going down, 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 down. It actually goes back down to $21. You could have had that price, $21.70. You could have had that on earnings day. And then now it's starting to get going. People actually understand what Rocket's all about. Up to 23, up to 24, up to 25 yesterday. We actually bought more options yesterday down in this $24 range. So we're hoping to cash them out today. But you do have this top again, $28. We hammered the long yesterday, but it took a while. If you do remember, came back in, we hit the long down here, 20, I don't remember the price, but it was down here. Nice move to the high side before us getting out. So look, Rocket's fading back in. You're going to have a 27 problem, 25 just on a daily chart. We've already talked about that, but here's a 1 minute chart with a little bit more detail on it. We did get, this is just in the pre-market, 26.60. I mean, I think we could fade back in, and then where I'd start buying this, I mean, yesterday's close was 24.50. I think in this area, 25.50 would be a decent retracement back in if it doesn't have the juice to it. So would love to get some out, man. 28.50. Let's see if it takes out the high again. But we have to watch for volume because we need to be right on this play, right? That's the whole thing. I'm not going to put in a lot of risk averaging down into this. I would rather try to make a bottom and then we explode off of it like we did yesterday. And if I can, I'll put this call over here. Come on, come on, come on. This was yesterday. I think it was right about here where we dipped down below this $24 level, and then we started picking some up around here, right where it was near this VWAP spot. So if we can get a similar look to this, obviously if it takes off, that's great, but if we can get a dip back down, even like this, a dip back in for Rocket like it did yesterday before taking off, that's what I'm gonna play. I don't wanna play the upward momentum. I'd rather it settle down, and then we'll take this out. So if we're gonna talk about that right now, I like 27.70 for a long if this holds, right here.
So, I mean, that 25 level, think about shorts that are going to be covering and where they might be doing so, because you look at, there's still some bag holders. It's not really bag holders because we're really just talking about back into September. But in front of that 30, there's going to be some people that are looking for the price to get there to be sellers. And short sellers are looking at the top end of that consolidation range, thinking, oh, if I don't cover some of that before that 25 mark, they're going to be in trouble. So if there's any kind of extended sell-off, which will get slowed by that short interest, guys, you have to watch for that 25 level. But also keep in mind, there are longs in this stock, and a decent amount, because this was doing more volume from 26 to 30 than it's been doing at any point during this consolidation, if you want to even include earnings, right? So, you know, and just so you can see there, yeah, it's been doing more, it did more volume up at those prices. So it gets to that 30 range, there's probably going to be some sellers in there. I think that's what the shorts are betting on. I would love for it to extend through that price. I just don't know that it's going to happen. Rocket, for me, I want to catch it on a big downward swing or fade the heck out of it if it gets anywhere near that 30 mark.
All right, guys, Square up about 4% here in the pre-market after announcing their industrial bank has started operations and begun the process of working in both the lending and deposit area of the world. So Square getting into the banking arena, guys.
Yes, and good timing here. Actually, we'll talk about Square first, and then I want to talk about Cardano. We'll do Cardano next because people are asking about my opinion there with that one. Look, Brendan, we've already talked about this before the show even started, that we got to buy some more Square. My average price is 45, so I was lucky enough to get it during those crazy dips, but have been selling it on the way up and haven't sold any in these ranges. So, and now I want to get more, man. I mean, a bank, they're creating a bank. They already have the Cash App with the reopened plays coming through here. I love Square long. I love it longer than this. 251, 251.50 here is an absolute beast spot for Square. I think that should be able to hold 250. I don't think that'll be a problem. The spread, just like I got smoked on Beyond Meat last week, Square could have the same kind of fate with it opening up here, but I do like Square. This bottom 248 could hold. If it does, then that's absolutely fantastic. On a daily chart, it's the same kind of stuff. If you want to get exposure to Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, but you don't want to hold BTCCB or any of these other sort of grayscale products, or you don't even want to hold the physical for some reason, then I would say you can get into Square and PayPal. But Square has so much more to offer. And I like it. I think it's a great buy. Any of these dips like this, any of these dips has proven to be a good buy, right? Dip down here to VWAP, buy. Dip down here to VWAP, buy. Dip down again, doesn't even get there, buy. Dip down again, buy. I mean, and the same thing, it happened at 228 again. We've watched this one come up and down and around, and it's not embarrassing. I'm long. I've made a lot of money off this stock, but this was another great opportunity, Brendan. I know you were talking about buying some the last couple weeks, or at least last week, off some of these dips. It broke that 50-period moving average. Did I say VWAP? It's a 50-period moving average. Sorry about that. You can see right here. So it's broken through there. Downside, I think Square is a forever buy. And anytime you dip down, you should be adding to your position, not selling. So Square to the moon. And that's with right now, guys, with BTC starting to go as well. This is just a daily, this is a 5-minute chart, but here you go. 49, we're taking out this level right here, 49,295 right now at BTC, looking to run. We got to 50,000 overnight. Well, it depends where you live, but yesterday at 50,200. So that's a possibility. Before we give a little bit more, I just want to talk here. So people are asking about Cardano. Like we've been long and talking about this thing since 18 cents, right? We've already made a high recently of 130. Its all-time high is 150. It made that on the weekend. I can't really suggest it too much anymore, other than if you're in it now, it's probably a good hold. Cardano's run by this dude, right? He's a co-founder of Ethereum. And then yesterday they had a hard fork, which I think is what ran the coin into it, ADA, right? And now what they've done is they've allowed NFTs, so they're allowing other people to build now on the network, which creates the ADA, which is exactly what Ethereum does. We've seen where ETH is. It's the third largest cryptocurrency right now, formerly co-founder of Ethereum. So, I mean, I think there's a lot of run here. You guys can just look it up, Cardano, but they did have, remember, like a lot of the time it's buy the rumor, sell the news. So the hard fork has happened now. So now companies can start building, so on and so forth. It caught on, right here, it caught on big for Ethereum. So we'll wait to see what happens, but I like Cardano. I just think it's a little bit overdone now at 125. This could be, I'm already in, and I'm in it for the long run. So we'll see what happens with Cardano, but I do like that name there for a crypto play.
I want a quick thing there. You're talking about Square. I've been talking about that Silvergate, and what I'm going to say here is sell Silvergate, and you can put that money into Square. And we've talked about this at least a couple of times. Actually, when Kevin O'Leary came on, he said this, and it bears repeating over and over again. I think we should say when you get gains in your short-term accounts, swing, day trading, whatever it might be, sometimes you want to put something away into a longer time frame. And so, the way to keep your exposure to, I guess, the banking side, to Bitcoin, to crypto in general, I guess, Bitcoin in particular, especially with something like a Silvergate, which I tend to think at this point it's hard to endorse it too much at these levels. But you take the profits that you guys have had. It's been a double up since last year, and then it's just a good time to get in Square. I know it's given you really good dips, but you can always nibble and then maybe tuck away some for a bit of a bigger dip down, guys. So I think it makes a heck of a lot of sense to constantly do this, and you can get into a safer, more stable long-term name while still maintaining that overall exposure.
All right, guys, let's go to NEO next. We'll talk about some of these EVs once again. As we mentioned at the beginning of the show, the entire Chinese group, so Li Auto, XPeng, and also NEO, to the downside this morning. NIO, I apologize. We always talk about it as the symbol. Wider than expected Q4 net loss totaling roughly 230 million US. And they also talked about slowing demand over the coming months and also being affected on the production side of things with the global chip shortage currently for NIO.
It's like Murphy's Law around here with NIO, because when I don't take pre-market trades, I was saying that 46.50 looks interesting. It's like that's when the scalp works out. I mean, the break gives you a nice clean, like 10, 15 cents. There's solid volume on NIO. It even pulls back to that same price before flushing one more time. So, it is what it is. It is the pre-market, like we always say, and you have to sort of file. It's not just having levels and it's not just having trade ideas, but you have to have a structure with which you execute them. And sometimes if you say, I don't like this particular trade until we hit 930, then that's just how it's got to be. The 9 million in volume actually, 3 million in volume is actually a little bit lighter than I would have anticipated on NIO going with like 15 minutes till the open. I would have thought a little bit more would be in store. If we do get any kind of a pullback, and remember you can trade any one of these names, I like NIO because of the volume, and of course because they actually had the earnings. If you do get any kind of a pullback, I'm looking at yesterday's you look at this little bottom that we had here, like 47.80. I might have actually did talk about this level, this 47.80 to 48 area, and I go back the day before, 47.80. That's a fade in front of that all day long. If we can catch 46.50 again, I'd be definitely interested in that. And if it even sniffs 42, that's probably, and by sniff, I mean the turn could be at a couple of days ago where it bottomed out at 44, it could be 43.5. But if it gets close enough that 42 is defendable at some point in the next few days, or even even today, if crazy things happen, I think it's going to be worth a dip buy. It's just, picking that early dip buy, Neil, is not something I'll be doing today. I'll be fading it till it breaks me, and then maybe above 48, you can see something interesting.
Yeah, so there's a lot of talk here about Palantir as well, guys. And those of you that think Palantir is a short-term play, that's not correct, in my opinion anyways. From what I've been reading, you got to let these companies settle down. Big government contracts coming through for them, and they release them every single day. I think the next quarter is going to be absolutely monstrous. They keep doing the volume, though, 1.7 million. They do have the backing of ARK, so Cathie Wood. We've talked about that. I think it's going to, I don't know, I can look. I think their largest holding is Tesla, just by market cap and just by pure how much they own. I'm not even sure about that. We'll have to look on ARK. Maybe if
it's not, I'm surprised.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If you have, it could be Palantir though. I'm not sure, but Palantir here. I mean, look at this, guys. 24, 25. It's holding these bottoms, so it's holding 23, 23, 23, and it's just going to continue to do that. I think you can pick some up. I do think we get back to the 50-day period, moving average here of 28, 29. I'm in some longer-term calls. You guys know about that. So it's just the problem with Palantir is, and I'll talk about this over and over again, and as I'm stuck in it trading, it's weak. Like even yesterday, it should have gone, man. The NASDAQ was up 3% yesterday. The market was up and Palantir was not. So it's got to shake it out. Remember the story about Palantir is that they just became public. They're 17, now 18-year-old company. This is not like a brand new thing here, guys. Shares just becoming locked up or unlocked for those shareholders. So there's a lot of selling in this. There's going to continue to be a lot of selling. When that selling pressure is gone, believe me, you will notice that selling pressure gone, and this thing will take off, and then you'll be like, oh man, why am I not long? But right now, guys, a break of 29.30. This is the area that I'm going to get excited about when we get back to 29 and 30. Then I think we run to 40 almost immediately. So it's got to get there. Be patient with Palantir. That's the game there, and I can't tell you anything else other than that, because like look at yesterday, again, a monster day. Like all afternoon, just check Apple, check Roku, check any of these stocks yesterday. It was not doing this, like ho-humming itself around up and down 20, 30 pennies, right? This is not normal for a stock that wants to run. In fact, I think it wants to go the other way. So you got to watch out for Palantir breaking today, 24.65, especially if this market turns around, man. This thing will be down here $1 in a quick time.
All right, another earnings name up next, guys. C3 AI reporting it was actually a beat right across the board. Revenue per share, all beating estimates. They even gave forecasts. It was kind of in line with expectations, but down here significantly this morning. So they beat, but I guess they didn't beat by quite enough because we've already taken out, you can see that low from aftermarket yesterday, kind of consolidating even below it. Some big time levels on the daily chart coming into play here.
And the problem is, look, and we're talking about disruptors, we're talking about AI, we're talking about tech, and in this particular environment with the run that we've seen in the last year in these spaces, 20% revenue growth is simply not going to appease anybody. Even if that's what the expectation was, it's still, I feel, going to be seen as a bit of a disappointment. So, look, C3AI put in a redonkulous double top here at 180. And it would not shock me. No, we're sitting at 106 right now. It would not shock me if we got a test of 100. I do want to say that each time it's tested that level, it's tended to, and this is way back when it first started trading, it actually would break through 100 and then maybe get those ramps to the upside. And you did see that on the second day. You saw that in the second week of trading as well. So I don't know that this is one of those, and like Lemonade, it does low volume and the liquidity is not always there. So if you see 100 on this stock and it looks like a defensible level on the chart, it's one of those where if you have a stop that says 99.99 prints and I'm getting out with a stop order, yeah, there's probably no way you're going to win on that trade. So, if it comes down to that 100 level, you're probably having to give it to like 90, I'd say 95 to 98 if you like the bullish long. I'm going to be looking for that, of course. if it gets down to that price, because we always look for those even dollar levels. I love those day one, day two retreat or levels from recent IPOs when they get defended eventually. And then I'll be looking at the 105 breakdown here. The problem with breakdown trades, it's short sell restricted. And with the liquidity as low as this, if I don't get a good fill, short at 105, I'm canceling the order and walking away. I will not get that on the way back up. It's entirely too dangerous. The spread's going to be too big. It could snap back to 110 in like a split second. So it's either with the momentum or nothing at all.
Yeah, I haven't really looked at C3AI, so that will be a pass for me today.
Let's go to Roku then, guys. 2% to the upside here this morning in the pre-market, well off aftermarket highs from yesterday. You can see they announced aftermarket yesterday. They're buying Nielsen's advertising business, or online digital advertising business, which is going to help them, I guess, advance both the commercial and advertising aspects of their platform. So immediately, I mean, they're talking about 100 million devices for Roku.
Yeah. I mean, remember they're in those TCL phones, and they have screens there for TVs. There's TCL selling out everywhere. So I think Roku they're onto something here. So look, don't sleep on this stock. We've been sleeping on it for a very, very long time. It does have very, very dramatic moves. This is still a 3-minute chart. Let me just break this down to a 1-minute chart one more time here. They do have very violent moves, especially off the open. You could see yesterday a dip down here to 401, ripped back to 410, then right back down to 397. So you got to have the range and the capabilities of trading this thing. Just look, I mean, 430, I think this is good news. You're up that 1.83% now. Being able to expand their advertising, I mean, that's what it's all about. Everybody's cutting the cord. I don't know anybody with cable. It doesn't mean that people don't have cable still. But if you have it, there's still Alexa Fire, there's Amazon Fire Stick, there's Chromecast, a little different, but the Roku Smart System, apparently everybody likes it. I've never used it. Apparently it's user-friendly. They have Fubo TV. They have everything now, building a lot of apps. So I like Roku, and on the daily chart, I mean, I wonder if it's just a better hold than anything else. This dip down below through the 50-period moving average, again, we thought the world was coming, not the world was coming to an end, but definitely the NASDAQ was all the way down. It looks like it found a beautiful bottom here at 380, 390. Now you start ticking upside. You do have this little break here of 450, but that has to come still. I look at yesterday's close of 435. March 2nd is today, yeah. So yesterday's close right here of 435. I guess that close must be wrong because it's showing us up right now, but that 435.91 or so is definitely a good level for me. So 435, break through that, and I think you got a couple more bucks, at least at the top of this wick, maybe even $6-7.
Yeah, I think if there's any kind of a dip in Roku, I'm looking at 420 and whatever. The number is what the number is. I have 2031 as the close in yesterday's action. I think that could be an interesting one for me. It's sort of worth noting that you did have some resistance, at least in the last few sessions. Going into last week when we had that crazy flush, Roku was actually already gapped down and then holding a 23 to 27 top. If you look at the pre-market, that was a 27 top, the 23 top that morning, and then the following day as well on the 24th. So you're basically right in that range, just 423 to 427 right now. That's probably going to be a little bit of a chop zone in front of that 420 support. I'm going to like Roku in front of that level if it can hold, but this would be a nice little dip recovery. If you can sort of see here, we went top to bottom 485, $60 lower, we consolidate. $60 lower from that, we make a bottom, and then we're $60 right back up here. So if we're going to hold those levels, I tend to think you can preach some patience. I don't like breakout through these highs unless you're catching it off that 420. I would probably stay away from that at 930, just looking at the spread here. But it looks like a good support level. And we don't want to sleep on Roku because there's been fantastic day trades. We've had one or two in the last year, but they've been on breakouts, and I don't see the breakout setting up for me because if you're taking a break at the top, you're longing 430 with a $10 stop. I don't like that. I don't like that idea altogether. I'd much rather catch it closer to the 420.
One with a decent quarter target. Guys, we were talking about the reopen ideas here. Some of the retailers in positive territory this morning. They reported a 21% jump in holiday sales, a 212% jump in same-day delivery, same-store delivery sales as well during the holiday quarter. So a good look here for Target this morning, back to that 190 level.
Yes, it is. I guess Mark was right. Well, the stockfather himself, he said Target over Walmart. I don't know. I feel like these categories are changing, and you can probably throw Etsy at least a little bit into that as well. Now, this 15-minute chart is going to look whippy, is the right word for it here. So Target is usually more of a investment and not a trade, and you can sort of tell by the crazy action that you're going to see on this chart. It's kind of very, very ugly and harder to discern obvious levels. So I'll sort of boil it down to this. If I'm not picking Target up on dips, which is why the only reason that I like Walmart recently was because it had clear dips that you're buying into that could have been value. Target, if we're not testing down towards this like low to mid 80s, I would probably be staying away from this particular name. I think it's one of those play in both ways. In the fact that it is a bit of a recovery name and that people start to get out, but there is some concern, of course, that when everyone starts opening back up again, people go back to their old habits at least a little bit, and some of this one-stop shopping could slow down. Personally, I think that's overstated, but it is a concern that at least everyone should really be thinking about here. So, I looked at Walmart and actually got some recently. Target, I would be waiting for a similar dip. I don't think it'll be as deep. A relative move down in Target compared to what Walmart did recently would be back in this 168 to 170 range, which I actually don't think is going to happen to Target. So you're probably waiting for that 180s and not much of a day trade there altogether. It is one of those where if it's on lows and the market starts to run to the upside, probably worth a pickup in that regard.
So we just got into Rocket, not Target. So we're in that. We talked about taking that 2770 break right there. I turned over and saw it, and now we're long. So we're long a decent amount, not a huge amount of shares because it is the pre-market. I do want to get some longer down here, 27 and change, but we could, I'm going to sneeze in a minute. We could take out the high of the day here. You got to throw to Brendan because I'm about to sneeze.
All right, guys, we'll have a look at this one as we head towards 9:30 here. Inovio, one we've talked about, and bless you, Sean, talked about and traded a number of times on the show here. INO down significantly. They reported aftermarket yesterday, so earnings were good, and then they came out and said that their late-stage trial for their COVID-19 vaccine is not going to start until Q2 of this year, which is a little bit later than expected. So down here this morning, 5%. After that big reversal in the aftermarket yesterday. So there's a couple of levels you can look at. 1130 to 1125, which is support yesterday morning, and then it's kind of where we ended in the aftermarket yesterday. And you can see there's lots of congestion if you go back a couple of months around that area on INO, guys.
Yeah, and sort of as you were talking there, actually, I saw it in the chat. I'm going to go with it that sneeze just took the ES to 3900. Right. Actually, on the dime, was right when that sneeze happened. We actually got 3,900. I saw someone in the chat pointed out, and it happened to be true. Also on the watch list, KXIN, they got a $2 billion purchase and sale agreement with a private company in China, so they're a used auto sales maker. Now, just to show you guys in the daily chart, this stock has been actually basically asleep around this like $3.50 to $4 range. Every time it's tested up to 5, it's basically slammed back in. So I'm looking at this, and the last few times it got to like 450 before turning, or whenever there was any kind of positive catalyst. So when I see it go into the 5 range, basically make a consolidation around that 450 and then fade, I start shorting the pops because I wasn't looking at it till about to get into position till after about 9 o'clock. This 420 level is what I end up shorting in front of. Got it a few times. I got some profit at 390, and then just here got it at 413, so a better price. And I'm starting to take some out at 4. I don't think it'll go too much further than 350 to the downside. I wanted to show you guys that on the daily chart so you knew. And then if you go to early in the morning, there was like this 375 or 385 area, and that's why I got some out in front of 390. So KXIN already a bit of a winning trade, although I don't think this is headed towards a $1 or $2 retracement. I think if I can get like 50, 60 cents, that's the absolute max that KXIM will give me to the short.
All right, guys. Yeah, thank you for the blesses. Yeah, don't worry. I know how to sneeze. The wife. We have tons of kids, so we teach them coughing like this, sneezing into your arm and everything. I have a cough button, and I know I hit it. I guess I have to reprogram that thing. Oh, it probably doesn't work with these mics. No, that's probably.
I think it works. I just think it gets picked up on the other mics.
Okay, maybe, yeah. All right. So the only position I'm in right now with 2 minutes to go is Rocket Companies, and willing to average in. Of course, we talked about that. We know the play here. We'll get in some again if it goes down to 26. I'm holding this thing until we see what it does to 25. You know what? It's going to be a mover. We already acknowledge that. We already know that. So there we go. I only got in and out because I guess that triggers the position so you guys could see it on the board. So I'm still in everything here. I was just in and out quickly, some shares just to make sure that it shows on the board. So I'm still long this thing, 71. Not looking good now, but again, it's not a lot of shares. We talked about that. I just wanted to have a piece just in case this thing goes. This could fall down, man, and we will wait to see. I'm getting a question from our partner recruitment team. Yeah, everything we're using here is P-Pro 8. So P-Pro 8 charge, P-Pro 8 imbalance locator, everything. Neo, bye-bye. We talked about this one. We'll see what happens, man. It breaks 46. I'm just keeping this on here so you guys can see it. This is the locator. It breaks 46. We're going to be watching Neo to the downside here to see what it wants to do. Palantir, again, some big size there at 25. I have that up on the board as well. We'll see if that can hold some downside moves here on Palantir down to, again, it's that level that held yesterday, 2460, 2470. We'll just see if it can hold there. If it doesn't, then we'll get out, but we'll take some shares as it comes down into that spot with only 30 seconds to go.
Yeah, 30 seconds to go. I want to get to this VACQ, vacuum, I'm going to call it. Of course, we were talking about this yesterday. Look, it's a recent SPAC. They're the Rocket Lab SPAC. There was a failed break, this 1470, and then a couple of times holding the afternoon. Pre-market high through 1465. So I'm going to have that level as a breakout to watch. Miss V and her pink hair are on the bell. At least I think they are. There she is. So let's get this market started. Watching Zoom actually headed through 440. So that fade at 450 might not happen as it's going down already. 3, 2, and 1.
All right, we're off to the race right now. Palantir trying to build off that 25. We'll see. More to come on Palantir. We are going to wait for that one. Here comes Rocket. Still not open yet. But once it does, we'll see. Here comes the fade in, man. We are getting ready to get longer on Rocket. We actually just did take another piece here in the 20s. So again, Rocket companies waiting to see this one open up here. Still not good to go on the locator. Still, it's gone, so it should open up in a minute here. I don't see any end prints, but when it does, guys, we'll watch RKT.
Yeah, and there goes that Neo right through that 46 level. We actually tried to pick some shares up a second ago when it tried to bounce back that 46.50, but it just immediately flushing. So a little bit quick. I don't know if it's going to make a bottom around that 45 mark, but that's going to be one to watch. I mean, I'm going to kick myself over not having that short. I do have that KXIN. And then Zoom, on the other hand, why did I want to fade into these things if they were going to buy? I thought Zoom was going to make a push. To the upside, I can probably go ahead and cancel that offer. It's not going to push up. Zoom headed straight southbound. If it retests 440, might have to have a look at that level. But the weakness is in both Zoom and Neo.
Yeah, Neo for sure heading to the downside.
Wow.
Okay, now Rocket maybe finally open here. We'll take some off, 57, 58, 59. Big winner alert already, guys, 27.40. We are long here on Rocket, so we're going to wait for that. Palantir still not doing anything. So far right here, 1 for 1 as Rocket just taking off here. A big trade for us, long 27.40. Let's go.
And I'm going to go back to that KXIN, right to our second target. It's trying to get to anyways, at 387. We just got more shares out of 390. That looking rather good. Watch it. AMC actually just broke through 9 to those lows, and I'm watching GameStop testing towards that 115. So that could trigger into the downside. Brendo?
I knew there was something we missed, guys. In the pre-market, Beyond Meat had an offering aftermarket yesterday, they announced. Big move down aftermarket, but look at this. 5% straight higher today on BYND, guys.
And here it comes because it's a banger once again to start the day with Rocket. What a big pickup that was, 27.20, man. Making our life a hell of a lot easier as we're just getting some out now on the high side here. It's been a monster trade for me. We're already one-time daily goal there. Big move. We told you that this was a nothing position. I wish it was now because we're huge, but that was a nice little pickup on the downside there. Rocket 27.20, now $1 plus in the money as we just continue to ride this high side, man. What a great trade this was for Rocket. I hope you had this with me, guys. Giddy up. It's backflip time, boys and girls.
And if you guys were watching yesterday, Morph was a big mover. It actually closed at about $85, gapping down at 8%. This is the test of the pre-market high. I like that 80 level to short in front of it. Just give you an idea where this was yesterday, so you can see this is a key level right at that 80 mark. So I want to be fading in front of it. It's got so much room to come back. It's a $38 stock at the open, which is still up 100% if we look at that range. I'm going to watch it at that vacuum. It looks like it's already blown to the upside.
Like, this is unfreaking believable right now. So, oh, you know what? We can try that new hot dog cannon if I can find it. No, I cannot. We'll just hit the chicken dinner winner for now. I don't know. It's not on the new board. We'll find out where it is. But there it is, man. A nice big win. $1.50 now in the money, man. Yeah, and this is what I'm talking about, Mirko. It just takes one trade, right? Like, if I have to do the show, but yeah, there it is. You make your day already. Rocket, wow. Palantir, wow. Rocket, wow, 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 wow. Lots of big respect there for the trade. Thank you so much, guys. I mean, that's why you're coming here, I guess. To get these trades, get informed, hit these big winners with us. And there we go, bang. I mean, look at this. Just keep going, Rocket. See ya. Where are my options? I got to check this out, man. Bye-bye. $29 coming through. Adios, amigos. Nice knowing you, Rocket. But this was a stock that we had. So there the whiz is coming through, man. Yeah, but whatever. What a big trade for me. What a big day this has been. Let's just keep on going, man. $1.80 now into the money. So let's go, guys.
Just got into that vacuum. It did break that 1485, guys, so breaking towards the top. But Zoom is looking like it's about to test 420. If I'm not going to have the short, I'm going to definitely be going long off that 420 range, or anywhere close to it is going to be the look. Was just checking Rocket. I wanted $30 for the turn on Rocket. It looks like 29.25 is the first leg, so I will not be shorting that unless I'm staring that 30 in the face. Just to give you an idea what happened over here on that vacuum. Here's the push. It actually got to 1520. Now, this is yesterday's top. So we talk about the Rocket Labs SPAC. It did break towards that high, but there is still a chance. The 1520, if it goes back, they'll probably have to take some profit off. Should take 20 to 25 cents because yesterday's high probably worth a bit of a breakout on its own. KXIN does continue to go to the downside. That's still working for us here. And I will be going back over to GameStop, which is on the run to the upside. Brendo?
Nice pop early on here, guys, in Bitcoin. BTC moving higher. Just saw this one pop up, SOS. One that is tied to the cryptocurrency markets, not only Bitcoin, but Ethereum. So through 8 there on a huge volume spike for SOS.
All right, so my options are in the money 600% right now. Okay, so it doesn't matter in case you get them out, right? Okay, Palantir does make a move off that bottom. So we've emptied out of some Rocket now. We're into a third left. We got out a lot up here near that 29 level. We talked about why that was important. So let's just see what happens with that one. But that's a big trade, needless to say there for Rocket. Let's let it settle down a little bit here for that. We'll see if we can't get out of some of these options as we go. Palantir now, nice bottom. Unfortunately, guys, I was waiting, at 81? That should have filled. I don't know. I guess it didn't fill. We just missed that Rocket or that Palantir. Wow. We would have been monstrous if that would have filled. I don't know why we're at 81 there, but we were, and it just looks like it went all the way down. And that's unbelievable. Too bad I can't show you this order in the order log. But 25, I still have this 50 coming through, so we'll look at that. If we can get some 50s, we'll take that out to score for sure. And talk about scoring, let's see if we can get the score. Let's see if we get Square upside right now, as it is fading back in a little bit. I do like what they're doing with that bank, but look at the NASDAQ, man. We are coming to the downside here, so that is something to be weary of with the NASDAQ moving to new lows here on the day. But watch out, man. If Square can get going and the market can get going, I definitely like this one for a bid.
Yeah, speaking of the market there, Sean, just worth noting, the ES did reject that 3,900. So I don't know if you could sneeze again, maybe we get a push back up. But I just want to go to Apple because we sometimes ignore Apple. Apologies for that wick. It's just a bad print there. Now back to 126. So you start thinking about where the dip would be in Apple, and we like those quarter marks. At 125 could be the next to come into play. I'm also watching again, Sean, testing back up. Rocket at 29. I still like that 30 level. I think it might actually have some size on that offer. And GameStop is coming back in. It got to 125 before fading. Remember I said the first breakout long is usually the good one, and then it tested lows yesterday. I'll look for the same thing to happen here today.
Okay, we're going to try to pick up some more Square here on the downside. We're just averaging in small. Yes, sir, Rocket going upside here. Maybe I should cancel my offer on that option there. Wow, blowing up, guys. Holy shnikes. If we're not, look, if you're not excited, if you're not loving the show right now, then yeah, what a big win. This is 27-20. I played this out for you guys. I just pissed off that we didn't get that Palantir long, but here we go, man. 29.40, 29.50. Rocket moving right now and cruising for a bruising. So a nice little trade to the upside there for Rocket. I'm going to hold this, man. Next stop 30, like Neil mentioned. We'll get another piece out, but this stock is just rocking right now. Rocket, rocking. Let's go.
Making making the Kessel run in 12 parsecs is the one I'm going to go with today because I forget who said it, but I absolutely love it, guys. You're going to see NEO already $1 at that 46.50 level and trying to make its first bounce. It was basically right here at 45. I want to fade this one if I can. Forget about 46.50. We'll have to look at 46. Morph just broke the low. So talk about shorting that one off the open. Couldn't get it off the top. It just broke low of day, which was 74. So MORF, this is a day 2 type play here. I am short that particular name. And Rocket got to 58. Not close, but not close enough, guys.
Okay, yep, we just took some out. Okay, so now Square starting to go for us as well. It's too bad because, again, I did have a bid there on Square at the bottom, and we just missed it again, man. So whatever, we'll just keep going, man. This is a 30-cent win right now for Square. So diamond hands we have here, hopefully anyways, up to 250, 252. Is there a breakout spot on Square that we like? Let's find out here. Maybe 251 right here, this kind of level, up to 253. Let's take some more shares if we can break through 251 right now, guys. What's up, Bren?
Just looking at this IGC, one of the little ones that can get going if it wants to. You remember a couple of weeks ago, this thing got all the way up to almost $5. So just popping up here on volume. Again, this morning, it looks like they updated their current quarter financials to the upside, guys, for IGC.
And believe it or not, sometimes the dip does come through. There's Roku basically just bounced through that low, the pre-market low at 415, just tried to test back through, actually picked up some 415s, and I'm going to give it down to about like 410. Now, this stock coming off rather heavily. I'm watching GameStop also come to the downside. Morph basically sitting at that 74 level, but let's see if Roku can't get back, and I'll go from the 15 minutes so you can see on the one here. Let's see if it just made that bounce. Let's see if it can't get back to about that 420, which we like. I definitely would take some profit off there. You got to take $2 or $3 when you can, and then see if you can't run the rest. We've run into the trouble of ignoring Roku at times here. I don't want to be doing that today. So if we can get a bounce back into 420, going to like that one to the long side. Going back over to this NNVC, I don't know that we mentioned this, guys, but NNVC is a monster mover, up 70%. It is starting to fade and fade hard. I'm watching an 8 break at the open here. If it gets anywhere close to like a 750, I might have to jump into this party and sell it sold. I probably should have already had it. Looks like a good one for me here. If it can get to like 750, I'll be fading that one as well.
Okay, so here we go. So we are averaged in now to Square a little bit. We did take some bottom parts there. But look at this market, man. We are just crashing. So if this breaks through 248.50 or so, we're going to get out. Again, Square, we can't. I can hold it. It's not that. We had a monster day today, but only off one trade. We'll just wait to see. But here it comes, man. Straight to the downside. Look at the market. The market's giving back a lot. We saw what they did yesterday to the market. So, yeah, not great right now. And we also get into Palantir on hopefully what's a nice little bottom. We're going to wait for that. Yeah, I got it, Robbie. We're going to wait for that 24.60 or so. What's up, Brendo?
Zoom coming in, guys. Just had an alert go off here on Zoom to the downside. So 430 was a bit of a level on the daily chart. We're now pushing on 425, selling off on Zoom, guys.
Yeah, and selling off on Square too. We'll drop that, so we'll go. We're battling this here today on Square. Look, I liked it. I think this is doing great for us because I know I want to pick some up after the show. Not great trade for the show, but a great trade here to pick some up afterwards. Let's just let Square settle down. I will revisit this one, guys. On the downside here, if the market wants to rebound, I do like Square for a rebound here. So that would be my pickup spot. And then here we go. Rocket coming back down. We just did empty it out, man. Right now we have 20% left. We took a couple pieces out at 29.30, so those were good trades for us.
Yeah, and remember Zoom, look, we talked about this filling in the gap. That's exactly what is happening here. And then there's that 420 level. So here we come down to 420. Now I want to nibble first off of 420 because when you have a stock which is doing this, and I want to show you the level 2 here if you can sort of see it. The gap is basically 40 to 50 cents a spread at a time. So it's very likely that we can break 420, and then I don't necessarily think that we're done. Are you kidding me? Did we just bounce off my order? Yeah, we absolutely did. I was bidding down here at 420 and changed to like 30. Actually, 31 is where my bid is. Didn't pick some up. I got to get on that bounce. I mean, it just bounced without me. If we're going to nibble, we can't be too picky there. Man, that should have been a fantastic fill, but 420 was low. We liked on Zoom. We're definitely going to hang on to it. That morph is essentially, I don't know, it's really not doing much of anything here, which is sort of annoying me. Square, on the other hand, I would have liked to dip a little bit further down into that 45 range. Beggars can't be choosers. But it does feel like this market is still in a bit of fade mode. So I want to hang off on this one. And watching GameStop, I guess I'm going to have to think about a 25.25 break because that's still somehow looking pretty strong.
Okay, and Palantir, yeah, Palantir is looking pretty strong as well right now for us as we continue to go to the high side here. Cancel off. What's up, Brendo?
Michael's another earnings name, guys, coming up to 52-week highs after earnings aftermarket yesterday for MIK. Watch out for 18 here from the pre-market, guys.
Okay, here goes Palantir. This is what we're talking about, guys. We did pick this up again off yesterday's low. We talked about it holding these lows yesterday. And if the market came down, we did want to pick up some Palantir. So that's a play that we have. Like, it's just too bad, man, because we would be just through the roof right now if this market just had turned for us because we did wind up losing on Square. Rocket is still to the moon, so that's a good trade for us. But Palantir right now, a nice pickup at 24.80 and then some drop-offs upside here, 94.95. That's right where we're at right now. Some drop-offs at 90. We do have a decent position. So there it is again, out at 97. Let's wait to see if we get some 25.10s or so. But we're loving Square and we're loving life right now. We've got a couple of monsters on for you. So let's go, guys. No bears here, just bulls in this bearish kind of market.
Well, I got some bear looks for you here, and we talked about C3 AI being one. It's right on that 105 low. Hasn't broken yet. We talked about that level. I'm going to have it if it breaks through. There's about 98 to 100, which we had for support if C3 does get there. I don't know that it's going to. We'll try to scalp that trade out if we can. But I also want to come back over to, if I can, that vacuum and that Roku. Roku does not hold. So look, it's going to break 410. I don't know that we're done. If that's me getting out and making the bottom wick, and then there's a continuation, I would look back to like the 50 period if we go any deeper, like a 400, 405 level. Otherwise, let's wait to see if we can't get back through the afternoon breakout point, and that was like about 417. So that's what I'll be looking for next on Roku. One and done, at least for now. And here comes the top end break on GameStop imminently here. I don't know. I'm not sure what AMC is doing, Sean, but GameStop about to break the top.
Thanks for reminding me. I didn't even remember about AMC. AMC, we're still looking at that 950. Okay,
no,
here we come, man. It hasn't broke yet. AMC looking to take out that 950. We talked about that yesterday. There's 934. This is 950, so it's actually 944. So what a big run. Thanks, Neil, for bringing that one up as Rocket continues to work for us. Palantir now above 22 as well. So yeah, the bulls are kicking today, guys. 944 upside, a big move here. We're back into Square as well. So that's working out for us. So we like what we're seeing with Square back in. Unfortunately, we did dump it there. Could have been a monstrous trade if we had not dumped it, but we did, so we move on. Here's Rocket, man, 28.80, still trying to go. I mean, we've been dumping some shares. We'll get a little bit more out here if it goes back to 29, but still a big trade, man. We're long 27.21 here as the market looking to rebound, and we double up our position now into Square as it takes out that 2050. Damn you, why did that have to happen? I should have given myself a little more room on that one, but here goes Square back into the money for us, guys, as well as Palantir and Rocket Ship. What's up, Bren?
Amyris, guys, another earnings name, AMRS. This is a biotech, 20% to the upside today. Big move. This is a little thin, so be careful. But this is recent high territory above 1860 here for AMRS.
And first trade since early in the pre-market in NNVC. It bounces off $7, tests back towards 8. I do pick some shares up at that 64. So I said, if it gets to that 750 mark, I'd start to look for a position. Didn't start slowing down until it got into the 60. So just a little bit of tape reading there to make sure it was on the turn before I got short. 7 even, previous support just now. I will definitely have to take some off in front of it. That's going to be a scalp trade. If you caught that GameStop 125 break, it basically went to like $1.50 and then came back in. So the strength may be coming out of that one, guys. And I do want to come back over to Lemonade. So I said 113. I guess there's no dip buy for me because it goes to 114 for now. Lemonade also has that 100 support, which I would like better in the long term, but 113 was the only price that it seemed like it was going to be a significant level if it did come there off the open.
Man, like, what is wrong here? Again, I'm not going to fall into the Beyond Meat trap like I did last time and just keep buying a stock that I like here, Square, just against the market. Like, look at this. We're falling, man. So we're going to get some more out here on Palantir, and we are going to have to watch this Square because it can't withhold this market, man. I mean, it's a big tie to NASDAQ. It's a big tie to tech. So as this gets sold, so will Square. So we got to be very, very careful with this trade. We don't want to send all of our profits the other way here. So Square right now holding up, but I don't like it. We may take another piece off very, very soon. I just don't want to wait for this ultimate bottom again, and then this happened to me again. So it's got to really try to rebound here with Square. We did try it. It looked like it wanted to go, but now not going. So that's Square trying to go, but looks like it wants to miss again. Breaking through 247.50 down here is going to be the, I don't know, I don't want it to be the out, but I think we got to get out of some if that does test one more time. Maybe even a break of 248. We got to test it out a little bit here, guys.
Oh, NNVC with a head fake. Are you absolutely kidding me? There was a head fake halt just now at about like 8.50. So I was literally looking for a turn to actually jump into some more shares short. And then essentially on level 2, what it's going to end up looking like is a stacked offer. Looked like it was, if it broke any higher, it was about to halt. I quickly jump out of the trade because I don't want to get caught in a halt. That's just always what I'm going to do here, and I'm going to get absolutely burned. I got to go gates of hell action on that. I was literally thinking about getting more shares on the rollover. It came right into that opening range where there's some chop, and then faked me out with a no halt on NNVC. Although the move that it just made on that volume, there is a decent chance that it could still halt upside if it pushes through to that 9 even. I like reopen trades after halts. If it does happen, I'm likely to put on a good trade there on NNBC. Definitely going to like that if it does go into halt mode, but I just got wicked out there. Not wicked out, but tricked out on that particular one as it does not go into a halt. I can't believe I fell for that one.
Okay, so out of a third of my Rocket calls that I paid 90 cents for, we got them out at 480 there. So that was a good trade there for Rocket, only out a third, just in case this thing wants to continue to run upside. So we're really proud and happy with that trade. Needless to say, guys, that was a good one for us. So we'll wait to see if that's going to come in again for us. Rocket. Okay, Palantir, look. I don't know what to tell you. We've just been getting them out. I mean, this is 224.80. The market just continues to come downside. Our Square continues to come down. We will get out of half of this if it breaks back down below 248. I just got to make sure I cancel some of these orders. I don't want to get too overfilled here as the market puking. There it is. So we'll get out of half again of Square, and we're just not going to let this continue to fall down. We got to find something to short. Probably Neo, probably something to short, guys. What's up, Bren?
Yeah, market heading downside. So is Disney today, guys. They tried 198. It failed hard. We're all the way back to 195 now on Disney. Recent highs still, or in recent high territory for Disney, guys.
Yeah, we like Disney. I mean, I like Disney over here. Rocket still up 15%, 16%. Afria, weed stocks, weed, moving around here today. So let's say, am I allowed to say weed? We say cannabis on the show, but weed Batman back into the building here. Watch out for Square. We will watch out for that as well. I don't know. I guess I shouldn't be really talking about Tilray. I want to have some Square on here, but we'll just show you Tilray just for some viewers' interest here. This is a good little buy right now. It just broke through here. If you like, you know, 250, if you think weed has a little bit of a run here in this down market, I like this 250 spot for Tilray, but don't give it too much lower than 27.50.
Yeah, I'm going to come back over to Neo if I can here. It just retested that 45 and broke, came back in to the upside here. So I still have KXIN and MORF. Zoom, I put a stop at 420. I should have given, I think I even said, give it $1 or $2 off of that level. So I get that 420 long, or 421-ish, 421, 422 area. It breaks for a split second, stops you out, and then comes right back. So it looks like it's going to hang in the money here. But Neo, if it comes to VWAP, it did dip once off that level. It was 45. Well, previously it was 46, but now it's 45.60. If it gets back up there, I want to be fading that particular play. That morph, for those of you, it has a 60-cent spread on it, so it'll basically teeter between like $1 in the money and $1 out of the money, but it's essentially not moving, and that's a bit of a concern. I thought it'd be a little more active than it was, and still no halt. So it ends up being a good out on NNVC, but it is not into an actual halt. KXIN continues to work. Watch out for NNVC. If it goes to that high of day and turns around, I'm going to jump into a short, but very likely it's heading into a halt state if it gets there. Brendan?
Hey Neil, Nana is a popular name on the chat right now. BNGO is moving downside, guys.
Yeah, it's not really moving downside right now. BNGO,
still up on the session.
Sorry, go ahead, Neil.
I was going to say, it did just have a bit of a pullback, but this is about 30 cents here. And I know it's for BNGO, this is a bit of a big move, but you have seen it do this in the past. It essentially a couple of sessions ago did one of those like 930 bumps, much more significant than this before pulling back in, holding pre-market lows, and then sort of bouncing from there and being all sideways all day, every day. not all day, every day, but certainly in the last session. So if the same thing were to happen, you're probably looking at that 10 is not a horrible area to get in. I remember the last time I looked at these prices, it was $9.90 and 10. So you get to give it through $10 if it broke, and then give it to like a $9.90, and that was much better long. So I'd stay away from BNGO until it gives you a bit more of a fade. The last time it broke through and came back at this time, it did give you some of those lows later on. Brendan?
We saw some of the big tech names coming back to life yesterday, helping the overall market in the rally. 5% at the end of the session for Apple, but straight downside so far today, guys. Only 1.2%, but still negative for Apple.
Okay, we're cashing out of some Square now to get this a little bit, try to get this back to positive anyways for us on Square here. Oh, that's still bingo. Come on, Chart. Like, I've been on Square for a bit. Yeah, so we did buy some 247.50s there, and we just cashed some out for 30s and then 50s again. That's $1. Here's another $1. We'll take out another piece if it goes to the upside one more time. There it is, out again, 248.72. So now we have less than half of this trade, and it's moving for us now. So now that the NASDAQ is trying to go, we do have some opportunities now. Here we go, $1.50 now in the money for Square as we continue to run, man. Square, a nice little trade. Unfortunately, I got a little more greedy there on Palantir, and we did not take this print down here. Once I realized it was bouncing, I tried to take 75s. It just rifled up, and we missed that. But here we go, man. I mean, you want winners? Look, hit the freaking like button, guys. To the moon. Bye-bye, Rocket, as we go. Rocket 29.37. Holla, here we go. A $2 win right now for Rocket, guys. A $2 win right now for Square. A 18-cent win for Palantir. But we're at one of our highest spots, at our highest spot now of all day for us as we just continue to run. Let's go, man. $2.50 win right now on Square. Let's go.
I can't even be happy about almost $1.50 in the money on that morph trade, because there is a 105 break, and we said this could be the issue on C3AI. Did not get the shares through 105. It's short sell restricted. Goes right to 103. Watch out. Remember 100? I said it might break it and give you like a couple of dollars downside. So look at 98 to 100 for that level. Morph is down at 74. We do have a 75 half short, so that is well in the money for the time being. That stock could be in the 60s very, very easily. Brendan?
Yeah, you guys are talking about weed a little bit there. Cannabis names moving around. Here's a quick look at all of them. 3%, 2.8, 5% for Aurora today. Tilray, though, leading, guys, 8% so far. Canopy did announce a couple of new products I saw in the pre-market, but no other real significant news, but the whole group is positive, guys.
Okay, we're going to get out a little piece of Rocket here as it just keeps on ripping upside. Yeah, what a great trade. This is where we got out last time, so I'm wondering if this is possibly, look, we have a $2 winner on board, and hell yeah, there goes our trade. It's just keep going upside here, goes Square. What a great buy this was, man. This was our largest position for the day on Square, bringing us back to life right now as the NASDAQ rifles itself back as well. So what a great trade that was on Square. Now, guys, you want some trades? Punch this in the face right there. Bang. Square, $3 win right now on board for that. 18 cents for Palantir and $2 and change for Rocket. And there's our last, not our last out. We are almost out of Rocket right now. So hell yeah. Papa wheelies all around here for us today, Valeria. It's been a monster day, and we'll look at some more names as we continue to go, man. C3AI down 14%, down to $100 right now. Let's check out AMC, 918, 919. And look, I call on Valeria because we're going to come back to you in a minute, Valeria, because you need to show everybody, A, your pink hair, and B, the like situation, guys. Hit the like ASAP.
Just finally got some.
Hey, Sean, I think we should go a monster trade with likes also. Guys, please, I remind you to hit thumbs up. We have 2,000 of viewers and just 2,000 of likes and 10,000 of viewers. So please don't forget and click it right now. Back to you, Sean or Neil.
Yeah, I'll just show here. Yeah, 2.2K. I'll throw it over to Neil in a second, guys. Come on. This is a $4 winner right now for Square, guys. So give some love for Square. We talked about that earlier on. And then we also have a $2.50. And Rocket's still ripping here, Brendo. What's up, bud?
Another one to look at, guys. Fubo TV. We talked about the news for Roku this morning. Fubo also getting some love on that, possibly 6.7%. Don't see really any other significant headlines on this, but a nice move on volume today for Fubo.
And interesting, Jason Watkins, thank you for the super chat. Everyone's entitled to their opinion about Kathy Wood. Of course, she's a successful investor. I'll leave it at that. DoorDash, On the way up today, yesterday was a fantastic short opportunity, and we talked about that at the open. It was a great breakdown. Brendan came with that news. Shares are going to be released on the 9th, I believe it's going to be. But if it gets anywhere close to 175, you saw what happened if you were watching this after that flush. It tried to make back. It could not get past like 173, 174. It is testing higher. This is a fade for me all day long. I mean, on the reopen, there's so much competition in this space. So when the 9th comes, I think there's going to be selling going into this. But it is a lightly traded name when it comes to both volume and the spread. So be very, very careful. Hard stops through 175 for sure. But testing higher once again is DoorDash. Flushed off the open yesterday. Today actually showing signs of strength.
Guys, follow me on Twitter. We also called the bottom of the crypto game there on the weekend. You can follow that right there. I'll post that up on Twitter. You guys can follow that. I don't know if it's going to be the bottom or not, but we were talking about buying, and it's right here. I was just looking at my Twitter. That's why I brought that up. Right here, 21. I don't know if you guys can see this. There it is right there. We talked about this over the weekend on Sunday. They're sitting on the couch with the wife. We're talking about that at noon on Sunday, so you guys can find that out there if you want. Check in on Cardano to 125, not doing a whole hell of a lot. Rocket, a good out, I think, anyways. 29.50. We're holding now 10% left. That's a $2 winner. We did get out, man. Square, there it is, man. Fall down the money. I don't know, which animation do you guys like the best for me? Let me know. Oh, one that we haven't hit in a while, Valeria.
My hero.
There you go. You're welcome. It actually looks like you have pink hair right there, too. There we go. My hero. Okay, $5 now, Valeria, in the money for Square. So, yeah, the hero juice working smooth today. We talked about even picking up, Brendan, in your long-term account. We talked about picking up some Square. We can't trade while we're on the show in our accounts, but there we go, man. That was a good trade there. 247 upside now moving there. I was able to get us some options. We don't trade options here, so that's fine. But 247.50 to the upside, 252.50 now as we go. What a big mover, man. Look, if you're not entertained, $5 on Square, guys, barbecuing. Russ can't cook anymore, but we can. We're doing up the barbecue right now. Let's get going, guys. Square up 5%.
Yeah, and up 10%. And you talked about the cannabis space. So I'll get to that morph. And look, it's in the money, but look, I think this stock, if it's not below 70, I'm not going to be very happy with it. But Sundial actually on the move back down. Now, I've been a little bullish more than normal on that stock in recent times, but anytime, and 155 was a huge level for me, but anytime it breaks the upside like this and just a hard reversal, we're back below 150. I just jumped into it in front of a 150 short, but 155, a monster level a few sessions ago, and we had made some money off of that price range. I'm now short Sundial at the midpoint. I'd add it at 49, but this is basically a retracement. I wanted to consolidate below 150. If it breaks 150, I'd walk away and look for the next trade. More finally got some shares out as it broke 74. It got 73.70s. That's about a $2 win. But like I said, I want that stock in the 60s. It should be giving me a $5 or $6 win if it's truly fading. Brendan?
We saw this yesterday with DoorDash, guys. Affirm, another recent addition to the market, announcing today the partial early lockup release of some shares on Affirm. However, unlike DoorDash, yeah, 5% upside for this one, guys.
But when is that? I mean, what is that story about, though? That's the thing. Like, is it today? When is it? Okay, it's today. So yeah, so that is a surprise. 1.175 million. I mean, I like Affirm. We've talked about that. We'll have to find out. I mean, I don't like it as much as obviously I've liked Rocket or Palantir or anything like that. Come on, one-day chart. You can load up for Affirm, can't you? Let's just have a look to see where this thing could go. It's down to 90. Yeah, 90. It tipped off at. Wow, it went all the way. It went all the way back to IPO price, guys. Down here, Affirm. Back down to IPO prices. The other. Bye-bye, Square. Square just continues, man. $6 now, Brendan, in the money on Square. Damn it. We may have missed the boat on this one. I don't think it's a screaming buy into our own accounts here, but wow, that was a great pickup for me, man. We go positive on that stock, obviously now, as Square just keeps on running. Look at this buy. I mean, if I just didn't dump any of these, I think that's the one lesson that I have to learn, getting out a little bit too quickly, because, man, we would be like 10x our daily goal, but we'll have to take 3x for now as we keep on ripping to the high side there. And now Palantir as well. Not giving too much love, but we will take a little bit more out. We still have this one long at 80. My next bid, though, is at 76 down here, just to see if we can hold. I think I've got to get a little more aggressive, man. Let's take some more in the mid-80s, just in case this NASDAQ continues to go. But, man, what a day, what a day. I hope you guys are enjoying it. It's just been one of those type of things where you take it out, you hit it, and then you go crazy, because it's been a big day for us. Everything's lined up, man. And you know what my sticky note was today? Sometimes you got to keep it up here, guys. Let's go.
And I'm going to give you the second target on that MORF. You're going to go to the daily chart here so you can see, well, that's actually my 15 minutes, so you can see on the way back up, and I was watching this all day long. During the show, 70 even was a retracement bottom. So I have a bid in front of that. That'll be, I mean, my last entry point was like 77 in front of that 80. So you're going to take like a $7 win if it gets there. If it breaks through 70, and I kid you not, this is why I said 60. When it pulled back off its initial push to 70, came all the way to 55 yesterday. It was like a 25% retracement, then came all the way back up to the 70. So I feel like if 70 breaks, you're selling yourself short if you don't think it can't get into those 60s. Either way, this is a high-flying stock. It was a $30 stock in the pre-market yesterday. I'm not saying it goes back to 30, but I am looking for that 60s. First things first, has to break 70, give me like a $6 or $7 win from that point. KXIM we can get to in a second, but that sundial broke 50, so I lost a penny and a half on sundial going short. Maybe I should be thinking long in that stock again. Brendo?
Hey guys, 10 o'clock. Let's have a look at North American markets. Pretty flat so far today. We have a lot of individual names moving around, but as you can see, the S&P 500 basically flat. We are red, only 0.04%. The Dow, 0.1% to the upside. The NASDAQ, both the composite and the 100, about 0.3% in negative territory. The Russell, 0.4% to the downside. You can see small caps in negative territory. The TSX here in Toronto, positive, 0.3%, having a nice day so far. But a little bit choppy to start. A few things from the watch list to have a look at, guys. Target did give you that 190 we were talking about, 191 as well, all the way up to 193 right now for Target, consolidating near day highs right now for TGT. Roku, not so much. This support was around the 423, 422 area in the pre-market, all the way down to 408. Quite weak so far for Roku, guys. Back over to you.
All right, guys. Yeah, big week for Roku, big week for Square, big day for Square, guys, as we have a $7 winner right now, guys. $7 winner on Square on board right now off this bottom. This was our largest position. I mean, I can't believe we got some out here like 248, 50, 249. But Square has the juice, man, and it's loose right now, going higher than 7 right now. Keeps on going. The juice is loose. If you guys know where that's from, put that in the chat as well. Obviously, one of the best running backs of all time. And hey, if it doesn't fit, right? Up to 29.80. Let's just keep on going, man. How far do you go? I just checked, man. We're monstrous on our options right now, even though I did dump a third of them as we just keep on going, man. Rocket. I guess that new TV is coming a little faster than we had hoped. So get ready, wife. Get that place nice and clean there. The new TV is coming. I'll tell you when I'm buying it.
So it's gonna be a rocket to the upside. Because Rocket's heading to that 30 right now, and it tested 29.80. But to the downside goes that KXIM. This is one of those, like, you short into that 420 all day, every day, several times. It finally broke 385. I talked about if it took that out, 375, 350, the ultimate targets to the downside. Rocket 30. Now, keep in mind, we're day trading here, so take everything. You have to understand there's a difference between day trading and having a fundamental position here. You know, just blindly shorting in front of 30, it wouldn't make any sense, except if I see good liquidity at that price. It has tested a second time. It's not very close to that 29, that 30 even, but it is testing 80s. So I might have to step into this at like 75 or so, just one time. And there's no way I'm letting it trade through that high of day, that 30 even top. If it breaks that, I mean, it could go more parabolic. Is that even a thing? More parabolic, parabolic-er? I don't even know the pun I should, or the term I should use there. But 29.80 does feel like it's a bit of a line in the sand. So I'm gonna have to start that short at 65 to 70, something along those lines for the first little bit. But 30 is a hard stop. You cannot go counter trend. It's a scalp trade off that high. If it retraces and gives you $1, you're very happy with it.
Yeah, current price is Square here. Let's just check this out, guys. $7. I'm tweeting this out right now. 254.80 right here on the current price. I'm going to find out like a fun little meme here for this one. 254.80 on Square. So a nice big win here to go on that one. And again, like, where could the out be? Like, what about here? I'm trying to let this thing run a little bit, but we just did touch out at 255. Let's check out a daily chart here for Square quickly. What are these levels? Yeah, 259, 260. Yeah, you still have some more room to run, huh? Yeah, so 257 maybe. I mean, we're still going, man. This is an $8 winner now for Square. So yeah, I don't hit this too often because, you know, that was taken about a year or so ago when that was my stomach. But yeah, now we're ripping to the high side. Square, man, $6, $7, $8 now in the money. Rocket, $2 in the money. And Palantir, 20 cents in the money. It doesn't take a lot of trades. I've already had 64 fills today, but it's been definitely a damn profitable one as we go. I just need to look at NEO. We will be looking at NEO. And just go, Rocket, go, man. Just keep taking out these highs. We're long down here, man. $19, $20, plus that $1 special dividend, plus a Square $8 winner right now. This is just unbelievable. Thank you for joining. I really hope those likes are up, man. Hit the likes if you can. It's been a big day. And congratulations if you knew that was O.J. Simpson. If you didn't, I guess you're not really a huge football fan, but there we go, O.J. Simpson. Okay, QS, we actually did take that long. I was trying to get longer. This is a one-day range. See ya. I was trying to get long down here, to be honest with you, like near this view up. I thought maybe we could retrace back to 259 and change, but we got to give this one a little bit of
30
room.
break right now in Rocket.
Yeah, man, I love Rocket. Just keep going, man. Keep going. $30, $30, $30, $30, $30. Just keep going to the upside. Rocket with a big mover. A $3 winner on Rocket. Bang! Let's go, guys. We're making too much money now. Too much money. Is that a thing, Neil?
There's no such thing. We'll go to Brendan in a second, but I can tell you it screamed through that price. We actually had to pay for shorts on Rocket. Odd enough, we don't even have them for free. It actually gave 01s on that break. So I was able to quickly catch those, but it's actually not even giving you much of a scalp off that level. Slowing down at least a little bit. So you've seen me do this one in the past, where if I actually had the locates now, I'm going to quickly jump into, of course I don't. There we go. Yeah, we actually just got them literally real time. Put an order out, didn't get them. Put an order back in, did get them. So when it breaks that 30, I go long, can't get more than a few cents. Now I'm going to use the recent high of day, that 30.20, as a new out for like that short. So it's like a failed breakout short style trade in Rocket. If it takes out the top, which is now 30.20, I'll quickly jump out of it. But have to have hard stops on something like this the entire way through. Morph. Why can't it break? That's 72 right now, so I guess that's $4 in the money. But remember what I said? I want way more than that. I want way more than that. Brendo?
The week has been led, or the past couple of weeks, I should say, by some of the banking sector, most of the banking sector, including Morgan Stanley, having another great day here today. Just cleared that last high on the daily chart, $80.42. So recent highs here for MS, 2.3%. But the banking group, guys, really strong again.
Okay, so here we go. So we are in a QS right now. That's working. I just put some outs there, so we'll see about these outs. There goes Palantir, man. I mean, wow! I can't get over what kind of a day this is here. No, wrong one. I'll hit the money bags. We're not unplugging anything. Neil's getting unplugged a little bit right now. But here we go, man. Yeah, I'll hit that again. The money bags just coming in. Let's see if Rocket can't do the same thing. QS here. QS right now long at 16, so it's only 20 cents. My out, that's what I want to tell you guys about as I look down at the system here, 58.50. So if we could break back down below 58.50 all the way down here, that'll be a good little target for our outs. That'd be about $1.50 there. So if we could take about $1 on this trade to get out of some, we should do that. That's QS right now, moving to the upside. Targeting about $1 on the first bit, and then we'll see if we can't hold the rest to see about getting out. So that's it, ripping to the upside right now. Here it goes. Hopefully QS continues to go. Palantir, man, yes, sir. Let's get out some more if we can. Palantir now to the high side. There it is at 13. Yes, man. I mean, Neil, this has just been such a fantastic day. So props to Neil, props to Brendan, props to all you guys out there as well. I see Brendan having a big day on some big trades there as well. So let's just keep going. Now here goes Palantir to the upside. Square not stopping up to 255. What a big move that has been. We'll get out if this breaks through 254 though, guys. Brendo.
Digital Turbine, guys. APPS, another one having a big day as well to the upside. I'll show you in a second. They picked up this Ad Colony Holdings, which is an online marketing company. So APPS now $102. I remember trading this thing when it was in the 30s and 20s, but 102 now for apps, guys, up 7.5%, all-time highs.
That's one of the crazier things. When you do this long enough, you start seeing some of those names that you were trading way back when, and the prices are a little bit embarrassing when you look at them. Now, Rocket's trying to roll over here, and I quickly tried to say as fast as I could here the plan of action. I talked about those failed breakouts. That was one, and I know because I had 01s to the long side. When it went, you couldn't get any more than looks like 20s or so. So I jumped back into the trade on the south side, ended up getting like 87s, give it to the high of day. Now there's consolidation on all kinds of it between 29.40 and 29.60. So certainly taking off like 30 cents for some of a scalp. And if it goes down to 29, that gives you like that almost $1 win. You got to be happy with that when you're going against the trend and when a stock is that strong. Morph still above 70, so you know what? It ain't worth it till it breaks that 70 mark, but we are deep in the money on that particular trade. I want to look at this UWMC, which I saw in the chat. A few people were talking about this one as a bit of a sympathy play to the upside with Rocket. If it does, and Rocket's pulling back in a little bit here, so that's why I wanted to bring this one up. If Rocket flushes back down to 29, this could go even faster. So alert to that if you're looking at a bit of a double top or a top on Rocket. This is going to be following along lockstep with it, UWMC. So if you're long in that particular name, not a bad place to take profit, and watch the chart of RKT if you are going to be trading that stock.
All right, yeah, I just got a funny little email there from my uncle about the Maple Leafs. Yeah, Maple Leafs are just crushing it right now. Yeah, so Rocket, the only other thing we're looking at right now is QS. Oh, this is about time to start averaging right now. 59.20s or so. Ooh, a big move down. I think we got to get a little more aggressive and take this average in right here. So look at the futures coming down here. This is the NASDAQ marketplace. Again, we don't take breakouts with a lot of shares like at 10:20, or I guess it was 10 o'clock or so when this happened. It did go 40 cents in the money, but we were giving it all the way back down here to 58. Remember, we're long QS in our own accounts as well. Maybe I should just get this out at $50, but I do like this little bid here. Let's take some more shares if we can, but look at the spread, man. You got to take a little bit of risk when you have 40-cent spreads when it opens up. So let's take a little more shares here. What's up, Beep?
Big volume spike on this one. Vuzix Corporation, 4% again today, but coming back through 25, it looks like some stops got triggered there. You can see big volume coming in, but 2, 3, 4 days in a row now to the upside for Vuzi, guys.
Not going to look a gift horse in the mouth, and thank you very much, Brenda. We like that Vuzi, moving like well, I'm not going to say an Uzi, but we got first target. I talked about 29.50, that little price range on Rocket where there was consolidation before. You've got to take the profit when you're going counter trend. I would like it to get down towards that 29, closer to VWAP to take the rest out. But on a day like today, I got to take the profit where it does come. I can tell you, and this is going to be the ugliest chart for me. And I told you guys as it happened that I got shaken out of NNBC here at a moment when it looked like this was going to be a turn to be adding to that position short in front of that 850 level. Showed every single sign of halting. I didn't want to get caught in a halt, an upside halt short the stock. It does not. It then absolutely flushes. So, this is going to be pie in my face because this is usually the type of setup which I'm all over. But I turned that one into a loser despite liking the level, trying to add. Now it looks all kinds of weak. NNBC. This is on the Amex, of course, guys, if you hadn't been checking it. Now getting crushed. Not getting crushed, but check this level on plug. We talked about 53. Look at this off the open, 51.50. Comes right back to that price, failed breakthrough. Now, it got crushed off the open, so it is looking rather weak, but file this away for the afternoon. This 51.75 area where it did try to push through, and this 51.50, man, if it can jump through that spot, plug could continue its rise from yesterday's action, but overall the market is looking weak. Rocket for me is in the money. But this trade, look, it's not going back to 25. I don't think it's even going back to 27. This is a scalp to 29 and nothing more, in my opinion, on Rocket.
And guys, my opinion right here on Palantir is, let's go, because here we go, man. 25, 35. We take out that day's high. Now we're in the 50s. Bang, 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 bang. Adios. The day just keeps on getting better, guys. Buying Palantir down here, buying it again right now. And yeah, I mean, the day is what it is right now. It just keeps on just making the money here. I've never seen a day like this for me. Well, I've seen lots of days like this for me, but just everything right now working out, man. We did average into our QS there. And look at Palantir. Let's go. Whether or not you think Kathy Wood is good looking or not, it doesn't matter, because here we go. Palantir right now to the upside. Bang, bang. Some big time trades there. Taking out that day's high, getting that trade, averaged up, not averaging down, guys. So learning from some past mistakes and not averaging into these trades. But there it is, out again at 49. We could just hold this now, man. I mean, Palantir has been a monster stock. The number one stock for both of us today, Palantir. Rocket, then Palantir. So let's just, keep on holding this one, man. As Palantir going to the upside, 255, 55, 255, 56, and moving. You guys love the show. You wish we talked about more crypto. Look, I'm trying, man. I'm trying to talk about crypto as much as we can. We don't have it on our platform here. So unfortunately, we just have equities over 60 different markets. Join us at Day Trade the World, and you will be happy. That is for sure. But I'm pretty happy today. Right now, 5 for 5. We'll take it.
Yeah, by the way, I'm just noticing that we did have a pullback. If you're looking at Bitcoin, and we have the ETF in Toronto, so we can actually trade that and look at it. It doesn't do a ton of volume, but we're back to that 48.5 on the spot, so do watch out. We're going to look at Silvergate in a second, but that came off just as we said it likely would. Brendo?
Mining stock, guys. Gold and silver miner LODE, L-O-D-E, on the NYSE exchange. You remember going back a couple of weeks, we were talking about this. It got all the way up to 11. We're back towards 5 today. There was a big offering announced in the pre-market, but straight higher since the open for LODE. Guys.
So I wanted to come back to that Silver Lake. It is now down on the session. I did mention probably worth a look to get out of this and into some square. I know I did. I think it makes a lot of sense to me. It's a little bit top heavy. If you do get a push through, and I'm talking about like 48, that 48.5 on spot, when you get a bit of a flush, this could get very, very ugly through 145 if this were to go down. And it's likely to overcorrect is the term I'm using here. So if you do get any pullback overall in Bitcoin, Silvergate's going to overcorrect. And this 145 break could get ugly rather quick. It's not a very liquid stock, so anyone watching that one should be interesting for us. I think we might have to pay for shorts. I'll have to double check on that in a second. Sundial. Remember I talked about that? It was only risking like a penny and a half or so on Sundial. It does break through that 150, so I get out. It actually bounces off of 145, so this is going to be the next level I'm watching here. If 145 cannot hold, there's probably going to be a breakdown trade. The volume is only okay. I know 125 million seems like a lot, but for Sundial, compared to what it was when it was golden and it was doing 1 billion shares a day, it's not a ton of volume, guys. So I will be not as active on Sundial as normal. I love that 155 level. It was certainly a good one in the past, and I'll show you guys in the 15-minute chart sort of what that looks like. It's given you a bit of a roof around that price going in the last couple of sessions. So if it does try to actually hold a breakthrough through there, it's probably a good scalp to that 165 top you saw on the 25th.
How's it going, Valeria? You're up?
It was negative.
You look sad there, so I hope everything's fine. Okay, so breakthrough 254 to the downside there. We get out of some square. Now it's back up. So it was a $6 winner from 247 to 254, 47, 54, $7, I guess. Winner there. Finally, it did go up to as high as about $10 or $8 there in the money on the high side, but out there at 254 and still looks like it wants to rip, man. Okay, we did buy some more QS downside there at 73. We still are waiting for down here, 59.50. If that can come, our average price is right here. We're long at 05, so that's flat. That trade, if the NASDAQ keeps going up, I think we can have a monster winner here on Square. And then my rocket, man, I mean, this just keeps on rocketing up through 30 again. Like, I cannot wait to see where this thing can go. My options don't expire until the 19th, so hopefully a lot of action here. We are out of a third today on this craziness. Put some money in our pockets there just in case. But right now, looking good, guys, for rocket longs here, especially if you're long at $20 like we are. Brandon at the big screen. How's it going, my friend?
Hey guys, yeah, let's go to small cap world. Real quick review of a few things we were talking about in the pre-market this morning. Cation Auto, we didn't get to it, was on the list this morning. Some positive news for Cation Auto. Neil was talking about this range that this stock's been in. If you look at the daily chart for months and months and months, this goes all the way back to December after the move to the upside. So we're kind of stuck in this range still. Top end of this range is 450 and then 5 if you want to look at these really top end wicks. I really wanted 450 on the open, any kind of push into 450. That did not happen. This thing is becoming very quiet very quickly. So KXIN kind of grinding to the downside, but not much to see. SSKN, another one that was up in the pre-market. 240 was the top end of the pre-market range, broke downside immediately at the open. We're all the way down to 195. Another one that's kind of dying off as far as volume is concerned. And NNVC we were talking about as well, 8. And then 850, so it did break back above that 850, immediately got slammed right back down. So as soon as it took $8, offers showed up, they started selling into the bid, That was enough for me to get right back in, but still should be holding this because we're all the way down to 680. That pre-market trade was great as well, from 880 all the way down to 720. So lots of opportunities, guys. Lots of volume as well on NNBC. Back to you.
Lots of volume on NEO. Now, Rocket breaks through that top. That's why we said scalp, only scalp. Got to get out when it takes out that high. So when it breaks, retakes 30. Short in front of that range, I'm going to be right out of it. So you take a 30, 40 cent win. Hopefully, if you were listening and we're looking at that short, you cannot be in front of a freight train without a bit of a plan. Speaking of freight trains, NEO, it was a great short off the open. We can talk about it all we want, but it's now heading right back towards this consolidation in the pre-market. Now it gapped down significantly before getting to this range. So you still have like a $3 or $4 range till the actual yesterday's close for the $50, but 47.50 is a bit of a level. And NEO, I anticipate, will have a quick little turn there. I do want to be involved in this name at that 47.50 mark. Probably have to dig in a little bit deeper or a little bit earlier, given it's not as liquid as normal and going to move around in $1, $2 ranges post earnings. So we're going to start taking this trade probably in the 20s. Usually it'd be like the 30s and 40s, but 47.50 is that level on NIO.
Okay, and yeah, we're still holding the rocket ship, so we're going to wait to see there. It does go up to 30.50. I mean, these are some nice longs there. Maybe we'll get out, man. I don't know. That 30.50 was monstrous. Who knows where this thing's going right now, but rocket ship to the moon, I guess, is where it's going. Straight upside there. QS now a 20-cent win. I don't know. We're up to the day's high here. Maybe we'll take a little bit out here on QS, which kind of makes sense to do that. So let's just do a little bit here if we can. We'll get out some 39s if it will give it to us there. So we are offering now 39 right here with everybody else. So we'll see if it can tick that out. It goes as high as 34, 35. We'll wait. The high of the day is this 40. So did I get those? No, I did not. So we'll wait. We are at 39. Come on, one more push. Someone hit a buy key there, and we'll get out some at 39. So the spread, like we said, the spread not too bad, but when it opens up, it can get pretty bad. So maybe we'll just get out a little bit more here if we can. There we go. We'll take that piece out. There we go. We just crossed down and get out there at 34s. So we didn't want to wait for 39s. What's the difference? Now let's let it run, man. A good little win here for QS. Just making sure that we put some profits. I mean, there, we would have got 39, but just making sure that we put some profits in our pocket as we are approaching day's high. And then the next couple ranges here for QS. Let me see if there's anything on this 20-minute. It's been a monster day for me, man. As we have a $8 winner on Square, $3 winner on Rocket as well. I don't know if we're going to get that on QS, but there is upside here. Up to $62 is a possibility. We did have some problems. I think my next out will be right around here, 61.20 or so. So let's see. We'll get a piece out at 61 if we can, which it looks like we may be able to here on a little bit of a bump. We'll take out, how much are we in the money now? We're long at 60 even, so we'll see if we take out $1, and then we'll wait for that 61.20 level. Highest spot right now of the day has got us walking on some water right now. But without any further ado, let's throw that over to Brendo.
Some Canadian content, guys. Canada Goose just popping up here in a big way. I'll show you the chart in a second. They're teaming up with the NBA on a multi-year deal that's going to include some All-Star Game activities and apparel as well. So big pop here, 46.5 to 49.5 for Canada Goose.
That's definitely an interesting look there for Canada Goose, an odd partnership. But hey, if it works, it works. Just got into that NIO. I actually picked up 13s as the first price. I mean, I saw it stall out. It's like, if you're looking at 20s, I mean, it's close enough to those teens. I do actually have some other offers out here to see if I can't get some more sitting at 20 in front of that 47.50. But it's basically, it'll shoot like 46.90 to like 47.10 and in this bit of a range. And I want to make sure I'm on the higher time frame to watch this trade just because you want to keep things in perspective, how wide this top end consolidation might end up being. It's like a 50-cent range. So you don't want to look at a 1-minute chart and then just get, zipped in and out of that trade and then have too tight of a stop on it. That 47.50 is what has to break. And until we retest back to like 46.50, it hasn't really done anything. So you're looking minimum like 40, 50-cent moves on NIO. And this is what I mean. Like, normally I could already be getting out of some of this trade, but I want it to come a little bit closer to this 46.50 range, which it seems like it's doing right now. So I guess all I had to do was say it, see if we can't get 50 cents on the first little bit. Maybe it goes to VWAP at 46.25 would look a heck of a lot more reasonable to me. NEO, of course, it was a great short off the open. Now looking for that fade off pre-market levels.
Yes, guys. Thank you so much here, Cincinnati Video Guru. You've been with us for a while, and you keep the super chats coming. Thank you for the $5. Look, you made your week. Me too. So there we go. Good trading there on Square. And like I said, man, you know, just trying to pick the ultimate trades here, and we're not going to get them all, but we hopefully get enough of them that we can make some money. Like I've had Palantir, QS, Rocket, and Square today, all positive, all making that cash. So yeah, I mean, what a great bottom. I can't believe you got 246.80 something. That was great. My best in there, 247.63 now on Square. I'm long term. I've been loving Square for a long time. I actually checked and told Brendan, $46 I'm long Square. Like I've loved this stock for a very, very long time, and it just continues to work in the long-term portfolio as well. So congratulations anybody with me here on Square. What's up, Brendo?
Lemonade, guys, just had another alert go off here down through, I guess it was 115, a touchdown there. You can see volume coming back in at the bottom end. They did not like the earnings, guys, for Lemonade to the downside today.
No,
I told you guys it was going to be a little bit of trouble for them, and that's exactly what's playing out. Now, you can preach some patience with this name, and I did say I don't like it until we get to like a 105, maybe even like a 110 on Lemonade. And this is a daily chart here. If we break through 113, 113 was where that big flush came in last week, of course, in the market bottom. So maybe it finds a little temporary support down there. But 100, 105 is definitely going to be where you want to be zeroing in, particularly on this stock. We talked about that top over at 160, and now the floodgates are starting to open up. And these high-flying names, it's a thin line that you're sort of teetering in on, and I guess a firm somehow running into that too, C3AI as well, when you have to really blow out expectations because the valuations get out of hand. Some of these recent high-flying IPOs, Lemonade going to be no different after these earnings, and there probably is a place to pick it up. I don't know that it's going to be today. Maybe letting it settle down for the next couple of sessions and hopefully give you that 100 to 105 seems like the better play to me.
Okay. I still can't believe that the Square I mean, I can believe it, but even on a weak NASDAQ, this is what we were afraid of, guys. Square coming back in on a move back down to the low here on the NAS, but that doesn't seem to matter to Square as that's just keep going high side, high. Okay, one trade that does matter to apparently, and it's fine, man. I mean, we're long right here at $60. So we did take some out. That's why we took some out there at 60.35. It's only 30-cent win. Wish it was more. But look at the range of QS. Even if we go back about an hour, that's not an hour, what am I talking about? Even if we go back about a half hour, we touched down 59.30 with a high of 60.50. So it's only been in a dollar range here for that whole hour, so or for the half hour. So I'm wondering if we just, next time that happens, if we're lucky enough to get that, we should probably take it. The downside, though, on QS, this is the problem, is I have to give this to at least here, 58.50. I'm going to do a little bit more work and see if we can find a better downside spot for this, but that is QS right now. Looking to buy some more right here, 59.20 as well, if we can get that. It looks like that's coming down through as well.
I'm just going to tweet this one out here because we show the winners, we show the losers. You're going to see Roku, and that's a bad trade for me. But it was going to be a loser no matter what. And I want to be bottom picking on Roku. We talked about buying the dip. It's looking for that 410 basin, which is exactly what happened. When it tried to bounce back up, it got to like 412. It started to bounce to the upside. This is a chase, right? So if I catch that at 413, that's the plan. You're risking like $3 to that 410. It gets to 420. I like the risk to reward. But when I end up buying here at 415 or above 415, that's a chase by $3. It changes the risk parameters. All of a sudden, you're losing 5 to make 5, which throws it out the window. So I mean, that's just. It's easy for me because I can look at it and know exactly what went wrong there, and that's why Roku is going to be so garbage for me here today. But you got to think about it when you're starting to catch those bounces. If you miss, no problem. It's like that breakdown trade in C3AI. If you don't get 105, it doesn't mean you short 102 or short 103. You either get that 104.80, that 104.50, or everything about that trade doesn't work out for you, you're losing more. You just saw that live on Roku. Well, not live on Roku, but in that review of Roku. You don't want that to burn up your entire day, so do not chase too far. Have a good idea of your planned entry and exit. Brendo?
All right, guys, about 10:30. That means in about 45 minutes from now, we're going to have another great guest, Biotricity, coming through to talk about some remote diagnostic and remote monitoring for heart patients. So really, really interesting technology with Biotricity. We're going to talk about that about 11:15 coming up. Miss B is watching what's going on over in Europe. There's about an hour left in the session over there. Valeria, what's up?
Hey Brandon, European markets are trading lower from yesterday's session due to the weak commodity prices. HelloFresh trading in Germany is down more than 7%, despite that it reported higher than expected fourth quarter sales. Back to you.
Yeah, a bit of a pause today across the board, guys, when it comes to, we saw the strength yesterday, but a little bit of a breather, I guess, today, guys.
Okay, so first losing trade right now, so we'll put QS down. I mean, it breaks. I got out early. I got out earlier than I thought. Right here at 25. You can get it if you want right now. If you are following me, there it is. You get that 25s. I took that. Just noticed that VWAP obviously had changed there because of the range that we were in. We were giving it down to here when we were exploding. It got tight. VWAP tightened up, and we're going to follow and be disciplined and follow our rules and get out there on that break. So. No love lost for me on this one. I do like it though. I mean, if we can get back to 58.50, that's sort of where my initial breaking spot was. If we could take a long down there, I think that that's probably something maybe to look at. But I just, right now, with the NASDAQ coming down, puking down, it's only down 1% or 8.8. We know it can get a lot worse than this. So I'll be very, very careful. Look, I only have 5% of Rocket left. I mean, look at all of these outs. Our best out is right here at 30. We didn't take any out 30.50. I'm just going to hold this all day. This is not really a trade for me, but we are. I mean, look where we're long, 27.21. It's a $2 winner. But because it wasn't a hell of a lot of shares, we didn't get it out. These are basically a lot of the outs right here. 29.50 was good outs. These are the big shares out here. These are baby outs and then big again. So glad that you guys have that with us. That's for sure. And then Palantir. We take this break, it goes upside, we take it out. We understood that this was going to be a 25.50, was going to be a problem with Palantir. Let me show you why. Here's the 20-minute chart. So right here, 25.50, right here. We had some problems. Can you guys see that? Not really. We had some problems here. 25.58, it was the high in the pre-market 2 days ago. So that was a problem. That was always going to be a problem. This is a 20-minute moving average. It bounced off there as well at 25.60. So we knew that was going to be a little bit of a problem on Palantir. So that's why we got out, man. And now we're holding that 20% left, or less than that 10% left on Palantir. You can add this up, man. Each one of these is pretty much 10. And now we're back down to VWAP again on Palantir. So 25 and change. Watch out. The market's rebounding a little bit. Maybe we go back into QS.
And going to go with sometimes you have to be sort of laying back in the cut, be a little bit more like a ninja. I just showed you, and I wanted to show you that Roku trade because that's an example of not having patience. NEO was a different story. Now, as it was approaching, now I talked about this before it started getting back up and right to that 47.50 area. So you have to have a plan in advance of a push like that. We did fade into it. And look, ultimately, I started nibbling, and I told you start nibbling above that 47, close to that 47.20. So that's exactly where I started the position. I did want to get more. I didn't. But first target was at 46.50. The rest was VWAP. Maybe it flushes further. But if off the open, what I wanted was the breakdown trade at that 46, and we don't catch it when it takes out that low, it goes all the way to 45, bounces back to the upside. I'm never looking to take a bigger win when it goes all the way back. No, you can't expect a bigger win on that second push off those levels. At this point, it's sort of a recovery on NIO. This is where the bottom pickers are laughing. So once it breaks through that recent low at 45.70, no reason to hold on to it. You get in, you get out. Had Rocket done the same thing, it would have been another leg to the downside, and I was going to get out at VWAP the exact same way. Now, Rocket's a much stronger stock, but it's basically the same setup. So you have a hard stop at that 47.50. In this case, it doesn't come into fruition, but you have to have a plan of action. NEO, in and out, quickly, like a bit of a ninja. I want to come back over to, if I can, where are you? There's Zoom. Zoom trying to make a bottom as well. This was a better example of how it should go, and this is how it should have happened in that Roku trade. Basically right in front of that 420. It doesn't hold. You're in and out right away. Now it's essentially putting in resistance at 420. So it's holding the bottom end of the range. The market's trying to bounce back. I would take Zoom to the upside on a 420 break. That's the level that I'm working with. It's the only one I actually like on Zoom. So if I try long in front of it once, I'm willing to go through a breakout trade at 420 if it does come again. Now it's still basically range bound, $6 or $7 below that range. Needs to break out. Longer consolidation is actually better in my opinion. So the longer it holds here, the more I'm going to like that potential trade back through 420 on Zoom, which is actually still positive on the session. I mean, it was a close at 410 and gapped up. Gave a lot back, but not everything just yet.
Okay, so we actually did take a new Rocket position right here, long at, where was my fill there? 65s. So we do have a new Rocket position here at 65, watching out to see what it does here at the 30 level. Yeah, into Rocket 65, watching what it does. It ticks as high as 87 for us on that. So we'll wait to see. But I'm going to offer a little bit of 80 here, and we'll just see what happens going to the upside. Here it comes. Get me out some at 80 right now if we can, as we sit here to watch Rocket. But hey, look, your boy could do it all, man. Bang, there it is. We can do it all, man. We could scalp like Neil was talking about. We could hold for $5 winners. Here's another example right now on Rocket. Long 60s. It's at 90, guys. I'm pointing at something, and that something is Brendan. What's up?
Yeah, I am this direction from Sean. Perion Network, little software company just popping up, continues to pop up actually on a momentum scanner. 24.8%. This is an earnings name, little software name from Israel. Broke through that last high on the daily chart early on today, guys. But nice look here after earnings for PERI.
Another name that we were watching a little bit, I mean, at least yesterday, and that was sort of in that recovery space. We talked about the recovery trade, and here's CCL. Again, it's trying to push back up, and as I say, it's giving you a bit of retracement. So you can see what happened. Tried to push in through 29, failing in yesterday's action. It was all downside, right? So you get the gap up. It was basically all downside. There was some consolidation here at that 2760 area, which is exactly where we just topped out. So, you know, that's going to be a level I literally just put that one down as I saw seconds ago. It gave a bit of a turn, so I'm not going to chase it. I just talked about not chasing those shorts. So I'm not going to be chasing it like 20 or 30 cents, but 27.60. If it comes back and I can get like 50s to 55s to the short side with a bit of a reversal break long at 27.60, I would go ahead and look at that. Still just hanging on to KXIN, which is never really threatened. And then that morph, which, I mean, it's still in the money, obviously, but it's 600,000 shares in volume, a consistent 40 or 50 cent spread, not trading a heck of a lot. Low volume on day two is actually pretty good, so I'm really hoping it does actually give me that flush through 70 even, but might be in that one for the duration here. But looking at CCL, it could be a potential secondary break, but that'll have to have the market going with it, which is not looking likely. So I'm more fading off of this 27.60 on CCL, but I want to make sure I don't chase it, looking for entries only in the 50 range.
Okay, guys, so we're just stone cold chilling right now. We have Rocket here. Oh, I wanted to show you because Blue Jays socks we have on here. So the baseball is back right now. The Blue Jays, we got the socks on, the Lucky Socks, as we sit back and just chill. Hey, what's up, guys? And this is what we do, man. It's 10:40 right now, and we've got the big trades on. We've got Rocket. We just bought some 67s there, out some 90s on Rocket. So now we're just going to relax. Valeria's going to bring us a name here on the board. I'm going to go grab my water right now. We're not heavy into anything, so I don't really have to worry about too many moves here. But yeah, this is what we're doing. Sometimes you got to just, you know, relax. If I don't see anything, I got to stand back a little bit. As you can see, my eyes still always on the screen. I think that's really important. Rocket up 23% today. Wow. Well, let me know when we're ready for Valeria. And I know she has a name that's been rocking. This is a name that I own and have been long this name since $17. Go V.
Hey Sean, Fisker is at all-time highs. Guys, do you see any opportunities for yourself in FSR today?
Right, so I sold some Fisker. I could talk about this. I did sell some Fisker. I was, like I said, I was long $16, and it was just one of those plays, man. I mean, I've been long Nikola. I've been long some of these other names. Not Neo, but definitely Nikola. That went the wrong way, right? So when you see profits coming through like this, you get some out, right? So I actually got some out somewhere in this day on this wick. I thought it would look better on the chart, or it could have been in here somewhere too. It was about $24, $25. I got out of some of this 16. And you might say, like, why, you know, like, why were you long? What was up? What's the deal with that? Yada, yada, yada. I mean, look at this. This is the kind of stuff that I'm talking about. This is the same stuff we found on Rocket. This is the same stuff that we found on JP Morgan. It's the same stuff on DraftKings. This is why we have monster winners. When you pick a stock that is working and you can find these kind of levels, man, I mean, this is a double for us on Fisker, right? So nothing to complain about right now. Fisker mooning right here to the upside. I don't know what the news. We know they had earnings. It looks like their car is good. They had unbelievable sales for the Fisker Ocean, the pre-sales. So yeah, finally an electric vehicle that might be able to test a little bit here on the luxury end of things with that Fisker Ocean. I think it can go. I think Randy was telling me, like, I don't know, 1,000 horsepower, something like that, for like 70 or 80 grand. I don't know, maybe I have the company wrong there, but that's another reason why we like Ford, guys, and GM. Ford with Rivian. I'm gonna go get my water.
Yeah, I much prefer Ford because I think it's a much better sort of overall reopen play as well. It gives you a bit of a safer exposure. Fisker feels at this point actually overbought. For me, the 17 was a swing trade area. So if you get the double up, I think that's congratulations to you. It does feel a little bit in that sort of overheated territory, but until it gets back down below 29, I would say all systems are sort of a go. And the reason I say that 29, it was a previous double top going back to, you go back to last week on a Friday, it got to this 29.30, failed breakthrough yesterday's action as well at that 29, and now sort of screaming above. Until it retraces through that particular price, it's going to be a bullish name for me. It's oddly enough a pretty mixed board up there, but it's time to go to Brennan for our sector watch.
Hey guys, yeah, a little bit of red to talk about if we can get into what is moving around as far as the market's concerned, 0.6% now. You can see Target here. We'll start with the consumer, I should say, discretionary stocks. Some of the retailers in negative territory. Target off of earnings, of course, to the downside, 5.6%. Here's all the cruise lines, some of the hotels as well. We mentioned yesterday, bit of a breather, but they have been strong over the past couple of days. We mentioned that reopen trade kind of idea, 3.5% for CCL, about the same for Norwegian, leading the way. There's also LVS, Win, MGM was on here as well, but it has disappeared for the time being. There's Ford, 2.25% for Ford. Tesla, downside today, about a full percent in negative territory. I want to point out Nielsen's here, NLSN. We mentioned Roku buying their online advertising business. So Nielsen's NLSN up about 6% off of that news. Tech stocks weak, dragging the market to the downside today. So if you're looking for something with weakness, focus on the hardware equipment makers. Some of the semiconductors also in negative territory. To the upside, the resource sector, so some of the material stocks, Mosaic 3%, ALB, FCX about 3% as well. Energy stocks also bouncing back. They've had 2 or 3 sessions to the downside, but seeing a bounce in oil today. Oxy, Apache, and MRO here, all up about 2.5 to 3%. Fox, you can trade either one, same company, Viacom as well, 2% to the upside. So communication stocks also in positive territory. Everything else, as you can see, pretty weak, about 0.5% now for the S&P, guys. Back over to you.
Thank you very much for the super chat there, Michael. We talked a little bit about Walmart. I mean, look, I think you hang on to Walmart. I think it'll be still a solid play. And again, you have to think about time frame matters without knowing what your horizon is. Are you swinging it? I'm assuming you mean an investment. You got to be looking at the long term when it comes to something like a Walmart. And speaking of looking at the long term, a firm got mentioned, and I was a little surprised because I was surprised that you actually could have gotten this like 90 and 91 the last couple of days. When we talked about those IPO first day or first week open prices. I mean, these guys just came out with a new debit card. If you're using if you're going to use a firm's debit card, make sure you understand it completely because, look, not every single vendor is going to be that zero interest. And that goes without saying. If you're doing that buy now, pay later, use your own discretion. But I think it's a good positive for them, expanding their horizons a little bit. I just wish I had seen this down at like 90, 91. But as long as we're below this 98 range, I feel like there's going to be places to pick it up. I do like it at this 95. I'm not really talking about the day trade because it is rather thinly traded. It does have a bit of a spread, so you want to be off of a very, very firm level if you're going to be picking this one up. So as a day trade, I'd be looking at those lows for some consolidation, not really playing it in the middle on low liquidity. But a firm looks really, really attractive around these ranges here, and I think that's been true of a lot of these IPOs. I do want to come back over to that KXIN. It is still falling, obviously. But starting to slow down. I just got another fill. I talked about 75s. I just got another fill down here at 78. It does feel like it's not going to go too much further. And I talked about how, look, if you look at the daily chart here, how asleep this stock has been around 350. So you have to know this and plan to trade accordingly. There's almost zero chance it's going to fade any further than that 350. So you start thinking about these consolidation areas. You look at this 75 to like 30-90 range where there's a lot of chop in between in the last couple of sessions. And that's why you get out in front of those ranges, guys, because you can't expect it's going to go too much further than that. Even if you got the direction right, you got to know where there might be some targets. It's not to say short here and it has to go to the 350. I like playing the middle. Make sure you get a bit of a profitability on the way down, guys.
Profitability. Okay, Palantir, guys. Another little buy here. Come Come on, I have the day chart up. Here we go, another buy here in the 90s, so we'll see if that can come through. So there goes Rocket. It does dump below this 40 level there. So we tried it. This is a flat trade in here, 66, out some 30s, or actually 85, and then 91 or 92. So that's 30-cent win there on half. And then the other half comes out. I planned this one perfect. Well, I thought it was perfectly, it basically was, out there at 42s. So now Rocket will cancel some of, oh no, well that's a low bid that I had there on Rocket. Okay, so that's coming through right now. We'll see if that can hit. Palantir, just a quick talk about this. Some of the stocks come back here. We did talk about that. The NASDAQ's coming off here, so I think I got to look at some NEO to short because we noticed how weak that's been lately, and especially into earnings today. That VACQ, another name, Microsoft holding up okay today, still down that 1.3%. We could check back in on AMC. Rocket's still up 21%. AMC here, $9, $9.04 coming back in as well. GameStop over 25 million shares done. We are watching that 9 level right here though to come on AMC. If the market keeps falling though, I'm not sure what kind of a damage this can happen. So I think we will go back to Square. A nice little pickup. Upside 257 was the stop. If Square can get back, it's just right here on VWAP. So let's do a little more work. But if this market keeps coming down, I don't like it. But Square prime for a bounce back here at 253, I think. What's up, Bren?
Our recent SPAC conversion, guys, Clover Health in trouble. 1020, wanted to point that out first off. That was the initial IPO SPAC price for this Clover Health. It's now trading at 920 off of earnings. You can see a little bit of a pop aftermarket yesterday following earnings, but down big time following the call. So 1020, it's below its initial SPAC price, guys, for Clover Health.
And just worth noting, we did talk about that UWMC, and hopefully mentioned it in a nick of time there. It did make that pullback into VWAP, and I know this is trading alongside Rocket, but probably pulling back a little bit more harsh than Rocket will be. Fisker also did as well, but it looks like it manages to hold 29, at least for now. I think that's going to be an interesting one if it gets back down below that price. I'm going to head to the bearish side on that particular name. As far as Zoom goes, anytime I'm looking at a consolidation range, and again, it was 412 to that 420, it breaks low. You throw that out, you have to reassess, and this price action matters when it goes into a price. Like if the stock falls to $400, sorry, it doesn't mean you're jumping into the 420 when it breaks to the upside. I needed it holding that range for that breakout to be in store. Instead, the market continues to head southbound. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel that breakout stop on Zoom. You got to be at least a little bit patient with some of these names. Speaking of patience, I want to go back over to Plug Power if I can. Patience is a virtue. And it is still trying to get back to this like 51.50. You saw this in the pre-market, fell off like an absolute cliff. This is 51.70. I said 51.75 because like those even quarters. And this is what happens. It goes to 74. If you try to take that break, maybe you have 51.70 or 50s, you go long, it fails. If you try it here, it does not break 51.50. Plug has to get above 51.75. And that's going to be the key here. If you like the southbound trade, which if this market rolls over, it's not a horrible idea. You're looking at like 50 and a quarter, and then Plug could retest some of those lows. I'm going to stick with the two shorts I have on Morph, which is $5 in the money. But I've already, and you can call it scalp, whatever you want. I've already taken a few dollars out of that trade. I think it's basically either going to be 10 or more or break even on the last of that short. And then KXIN, like I've already told you guys, out of most of it, got to go to 350 to get the rest. But Plug has to break this range, 50.20 to 25 to the downside, or 51.75. The only way I'm getting into that one.
Okay, Wicked, I want to give a big shout out to the guys there at Cactus Club, getting some notes here from them. And look, yeah, when we're ready to rock and roll, we're coming by there to get some drinks, right, Valeria? All right, we'll bring the wives. We'll have some big parties there. Trader TV Live Party, Cactus Club. Thank you so much, Paul, for your kind words, and I'm glad that you hit that FUBU and that rocket as well. So thank you so much for all of that, man. It's been a good one there. I know the wife likes Cactus Club. We went to the one in Sherway before, and I've been downtown on business-related issues, but not personally. So looking forward to that. I believe you guys are downtown. Okay, so Square, damn it, we could have had that 253 break there through the upside, and we missed it on Square. Look at this market rallying. We do have Palantir though. We buy downside Palantir, now getting out 06, average price 07. The perfect day continues, sans QS. We're down on QS, but it's embarrassing how little it is, but we still are down. Should have picked some up. At my initial spot, oh man, that was 58.50. We talked about 58.50, and for some reason I pulled my bid once we got flat. That would have been a pretty sweet ride to take that long, guys. But yeah, not much else happening for me right now. We'll still watch that Fisker, and I want to look at some NEO to get involved there as well, and maybe some more Rocket, but we'll throw it over to Brendo.
Got me thinking about food, Sean. They have a double braised short rib at Cactus Club. Unbelievable. So good. And also their pokey is really... Let's talk about currencies. Not a lot going on, guys, as far as the actual currencies versus the US dollar. There is some US dollar weakness, underlying weakness, kind of dragging down some of these again today. But overall, pretty flat. As far as cryptocurrencies, yeah, we're negative on the day, 48.5 as far as Bitcoin is concerned. But this 48,000 level was resistance, if you remember, on the way up the first time. It's trying to hold. It looks like we're trying to hold, guys, as far as support is concerned at 48,000. So if that can be a thing, we get back above 50,000, maybe that could be the start of something back to the upside for Bitcoin. Yes, it's negative, but only 0.5%, 48,580. Ethereum, 0.5% the other direction to the upside today, 15,050 again. Ripple negative on the day as well. But 48,000, Sean, becoming a thing for Bitcoin. Back over to you.
Yeah, 48,000. So again, guys, we talked about this. I'll pull up Bitcoin again. Those of you following us, or me anyways, we talked about this back here on the weekend there when we talked about it. This was a good opportunity here, February 28th. I liked this little bottom, and we tweeted that out. You can follow us on Twitter. I tweeted this out. I was looking at this. I got like over 55 or 70 responses to this when I said, guys, let's think about hitting this 43 level. So that was a nice little run up to 50. We did take a little bit out, but I mean, I'm still obviously very much a crypto bull, but I mean, I'm long at a lot lower prices. So I like BTC, and I did buy Ripple, 30 cents US on some of that talk that the SEC was getting involved. So there's lots of that kind of stuff happening. So we'll wait. And then you guys know that Cardano is really the one that I'm holding my hat on. The most money I have invested in crypto is in ADA, but then I think it's Ether, and then it's Bitcoin. And I also have Stellar Lumens, XLM. You guys could watch out for that one as well. I do like Stellar, so you can look at that. Okay, AMD was a name that I wanted to talk about quickly. AMD Advanced Micro Devices here, a name that I love, absolutely love. We're long, again, at a nice price on this name, but it's making bases out like every day. It kind of does this. You saw even yesterday off the open, it did this. It created an 84 bottom and then took off in the afternoon. And I just kind of look, it kind of looks very similar, although this is obviously 2 hours in right now, but it's kind of making a bottom here as well at 85, 85.50 bottom. So it's now at 86. This could be worth the shot. However, the range today, forget about, if you could just close your eyes and not look at this part, the range basically, if you started from like 935, is 86.30 down to 85.50. So there's not much happening today. I keep saying that today, and I just don't know. That's why we kick our feet up. Oh yeah, and I went to get some water. There it is, like I'm serving this. Watermelon, there was 2 slices of watermelon left, or no, 4 slices of watermelon left. Took half of them, so there it is. We have some watermelon. A juicy treat, that's for sure. Watermelon, we'll be having some of that very, very soon. And yeah, so just looking at AMD, it's pretty choppy. If we get above, what, 86.60, something like that, maybe there would be something there. We'll look at Rocket, we'll look at GME. Well, GameStop's still up 10%, man. And then we'll look at AMC in a couple minutes. CCL is still 5% as well. And
we're going to get to GameStop in a second there, but there goes that, well, not there it goes. It didn't break CCL here at that 27.60. It goes to that 27.60 top. 58 is the actual high, but like I say, be patient. I got my shares just now at 55, and I'll add, if I can, a little tighter to that 60 top if we can get it. But you know, just new position alert. Obviously, want to make sure you guys know all about that. GameStop, as you mentioned, Sean, I've been sort of watching this one all morning long, and it's not necessarily the same volatility or volume that it's had in the past, but making another strong move today. Now, I anticipated we were going to retest those lows off the open, so I was waiting for a deeper dip. It never really gave it to you. Just keep in mind, it's already tested this, yesterday's high at 134 once. I'm going to like a 135 break, and I know it's a 134. You know what? Actually, let me throw that out there. I'm going to take a 134 break. 130. I've waited for that extra dollar a couple of times, and it's essentially cost me. It's like, even if it works, it goes in either regard, and you're sort of married to those even ranges. It's a hard 134 top yesterday. It's a hard 134 top today, so winning at 135 doesn't make a heck of a lot of sense. If it's not going to go, I'm losing $2 anyways, maybe $3, and on GameStop, that probably doesn't matter. And if it's going to work, we're probably going to get to like a 140 to 145. So you know what? It should be a 134 break. That's a level worth watching. You do, and the reason I say 140 to 145 is because you go back a couple of sessions ago. This is a 143 top there, so it could have run into some resistance. GameStop looking strong today. It never even tried those lows. This is the cleanest uptrend it's been in a while. So watching this 134 break through the high.
Okay, we do have a guest coming up as well. But yeah, you guys said finally some fruit on the show. We used to do this quite often. I actually have I don't know where it is. Oh, there it is. It's in front of Valeria. There is a fruit salad shirt. That was kind of ridiculous to make that. I want, Valeria, I told you, we got to get some hats going, man. I want to get some hats going. Maybe I'll help you do that after the show. We'll get some more merch up. How about a ball cap, guys? You guys like that? Anything else you guys want? I wish there was cases for your phone. There's only iPhone cases right now. So we're going to wait to get that up. You can find our merchandise as well. The show's completely free, guys. What we want you to do, if you can't hit the like, or if you've already hit the like and you're like, hey, I want to support the show more, where's the share button? This share button. Like, first of all, only 3.3K likes. Like, okay, we're back every single day regardless. We're not one of those shows that just sits here and talks about chairs and talks about other random stuff, guys. We're actually making trades. 3.3K here. Let's see if we can't get that to 4. And then worst case scenario, let's share as well if you can and say, hey guys, I know you're watching some other shows, but why not watch the best? TraderTV.Live is here for you every single day. I think we do pretty good. I think we got some winners for you. And let me know, I mean, if your account has been going up since watching the show, let us know. I mean, that's really all that anybody's here for when we trade, is here to make a little bit of money and to have a good time as well. So I think we're doing all of that for you guys. That's for sure. So thank you for that. If you did hit the like, we're already up to 3.6K. We just got 15% more right there. So thank you so much for that one as well. Neo making a bottom here, 45.70. Slippery slope. But if you do like the market to rally back, we do know this thing can get upside here. So 45.70 the low there. We know it can get back to 47, so a lot of range here on Neo. I'm hanging my hat on Palantir. We're long right now at 07. Let's see if it gets back. I think there's at least one more run in, especially if this market goes for Palantir, guys.
Yeah, and when it comes to Neo there, I'm still waiting for it to push. And again, this is the time of day you got to be a bit patient. We waited for that patiently above that 47 mark. If it's not testing towards 47, I don't want to be touching this to the short side. So we need to be getting at least close to our original entry, that 47.13. So like 47 even does look like the way to go. CCL broke through the top, so I did reverse into the long. It hasn't really gone. But it hasn't retraced either. So it was at 60 break. I know 58 was the high. Round to that 60, I get 61's reversal to the long side. And that's why you short it really close to the price. I mean, you're risking 5-6 cents, depending on the slippage there on that short, and you're trying to make like 20 or 30. So that's the idea of trying to let you guys know if it's a scalp trade or you're holding a little bit more. Neo, the target, of course, was that VWAP. It's there, and it's still there, and it's still doing absolutely nothing in that range, guys. So it's got to break out. Otherwise, I don't see much of anything. I want to come back to Lemonade. I know it's basing out here, and there was that 113 support from that flush that we had a few sessions ago. I still don't necessarily love it. I actually think there is a decent chance in the coming days it can go even lower than this. So I would hold off. At least I'm sort of holding off. Want to see if it can't take out those lows. And unfortunately, Lemonade's not the type of stock that you can just, when it's down 13%, punch a short through the bottom, right? Like for even an active day trade, it's a little harder to get those shares. I mean, I would still try at 113, but like I said, if you can't get the original entry in at like 112.70, 112.50, at the absolute worst, 112.90 is what I would want, then you just shouldn't take the trade because you don't want to add on that extra risk if it's unnecessary. I do have my order locked in, and you can see I do have a stop for GameStop if it breaks that 134. But the further it drifts away from this price on the pullback, I do have to consider canceling it. If it bounces all the way down to like 124 and it's like $10 away, I don't want it screaming up and then I'm getting it right at the very top of a very short duration move on a break. That's not a good way to have it. So for now it's okay, but if we retest VWAP, I would cancel it and wait for some consolidation a little bit higher to catch that breakout.
I don't know if we're ready for Europe just quite yet. Quickly back though on Palantir, we are looking at that one. It just went to the upside. We're long at 03. We just cashed some out there 11s. It does go as high as 16s though, but we did not get out. So just a little update there on Palantir. As we go, I think we're ready for the big board. Let's throw it over to Europe and Miss V.
Guys, European markets are mixed, mostly in a positive territory. Italy is slightly down. France is up 0.4%. Germany is up 0.3%. And Britain is up 0.7%. Oil majors fell earlier today as crude prices dropped over slowing demand in China. Though BP trading in London bounced back and slightly up as much as 0.29%. Back to the traders.
I'm gonna double check this, but I'm looking at this and I'm gonna cancel this order here in GameStop. Why? Because I don't think that's real. Like this 134 I was looking at. And you should always double check in your chart because when I go to the 1 minute trade chart, it doesn't seem like it's remotely realistic. I look back at it now, it seems obvious it's a dark pool print. So it looks like the top is right here, and that would mean that it's like more like a 132.50 break. So I just want to give that.
That is what it is. Yeah, it's 132.70.
Yeah,
132.41.
Yeah, I just wanted to thanks, Sean, because I mean, and again, you're going to see these come through block prints, dark pool prints, and that's at that 134. So throw out that 134. I'm now looking at 132.50. It's still right in the middle of that range, but that is the top on GameStop. Forget about 134. I'll look at 132.50 instead. So I just want to give that clarification because I'm like, that doesn't look right.
Yeah, and good thing, yeah, and that's fine, guys. Always double check your source. I mean, for that one, $1.50, but yeah, you don't want to take out the top if it's not the top. That makes sense. Okay, so Palantir again, just because it's one of the only positions that we have on right now, we're looking at it, and it's just come back down. I think this is another buy opportunity. Anything down here, we are talking. I mean, I like it a little bit lower than this. We are talking about a 24.50 or so break on the ultimate downside of Palantir. Until then, I still think there's more moves coming. I think there's more of a breakthrough there. And thank you for all the love there, guys, on the chat. People talking about mouse pads, talking about a little bit more things here to go. So we'll talk about that. We'll see. We'll see if we can build some more items for you guys. Okay, that's QS. Sorry, I didn't mean to go to that. I meant to go to Rocket. Okay, so Rocket pulling back now, making this base. Remember, there's a dividend day. You get that special dividend. I think it was March 9th or so. 28.80 now. Rocket's falling down. I hope a lot of you, like I did, took out a little bit of profit on some of these options that we've had. I'm still long, 21.65, which is a great price on the equity side of things. Obviously, for optionality, we want this thing to run and keep running. So we'll see if that can happen. I think it's worth holding on a little bit to that. Palantir just did have some size, I saw, I think at 25. Not big, not too big, a couple thousand shares. And I'm just waiting for 25.20. And then Rocket, just on a 1 minute chart, this is what I mean. It's bunched up here. It tried to go and then it failed again. So if you're gonna do anything, it has to be at this 29.50. I'm flat, I'm out. We saw the warning signs right here. We took it out for flat when it broke 29.50. Now it's $1 lower, so look out below. Look at the market, man, coming back down. So that's another thing you gotta watch out when you're talking about trading stock. You gotta follow the market at some point as well. So here comes Rocket right to the downside. Let this thing settle down. This may be a good spot to get back in, but we still need to sort of test down here where we already got long. Are there real buyers at 27? That's the real thing that I'm waiting for, guys.
Yeah, and talking about the market coming down, you look at the NASDAQ here, and we are taking out, well, not really taking out yet. I mean, this is a 15-minute chart. We're still a couple of ticks away, maybe like 8 handles or so away from the actual bottom. The ES is essentially right there at 38.70 and change. Look, and again, this is going to happen to you, and this is like, for me, it's like one of those frustrating days because I liked Rocket to turn at 30, and I say this time, there's not an easy way to short a level like that because if you basically hold through and I don't get out when it retests that 30, I get back in here at like 29.90, 97 or so, then it breaks 30, I get out, it makes a top at like 30.40 before absolutely flushing. If you don't have an out, and I'm just holding all the way through and just averaging into oblivion, it's a lot more dangerous averaging into the short in that situation than averaging into the longs where there might be support. Fundamentally, it's not exactly the same thing. Certainly Rocket will have worked out, so the level's good, but it doesn't matter if you have a good price level if the execution doesn't work out for you, right? So to me, it's a losing trade, even though it looks like it's going to be a good one. There's no possible way that I was making on that Rocket short the way that it ended up playing out, even if the level was good. So it's about how could I adjust that plan. Nothing obvious comes to mind here. You just walk away from it, and honestly, I'm actually up on Rocket, believe it or not. There were uglier ones here, but it's only because I took profit at 29.50 and then I got out when it was small losses. So it'll look like a fail, but I call that one a win in my books because you stay disciplined, you don't let it get out of hand. I wish I'd actually held on to that NIO, but a plan is a plan. If it does test the absolute bottom, and we're talking that 45 again, this could get rather interesting in NEO because the market's holding this range, Sean, and NEO, if it does continue to push down, it made a nice bounce off 45 once. Maybe it can do that again. That's also almost exactly 10% down from yesterday's close when it bounces off 45.
Yeah, and some of those levels are key for sure. So that's what we're doing, man. We're looking at some key levels right now. GameStop, though, 129 and change. Let's take a quick look at that, as a lot of you are obviously trading GameStop or looking at the level twos, and this is what we do. Come on, Palantir, man, 12 cents in the money. I'm cheering it on because it's the only stock that we have right now. I think GameStop has that chance to take out that top one more time. We've already been up here a couple times today. This is probably what you were talking about. Oh no, that's yesterday's high. Yeah, I mean 134. That's sort of a key level there if you could break that. But you had some consolidation, and this is why you got to look back. You can't just like stick with the one stock, right? You got to look back and see, like, you know, what kind of resistance was there the last time it was up here, and that was just yesterday. So a couple opportunities here for you on GameStop to sort of go short here. You may have to pay for the shorts. Don't know how expensive. I didn't today. I don't know how expensive they are. I think they're pretty cheap for us anyways. But 130, 132, what a great little level there. And probably the very same thing on AMC. We'll check back when we get back from Brendan. What's up?
Just checking on PayPal here, guys. Big pop on PayPal shares and volume. Big volume coming in. Just back to 275 where we were in the pre-market on a spike for PayPal.
See, storage.
Yeah.
If you check that from CoinDesk, I guess PayPal is buying. When you get that, Brendan, just check it out. It's right there on the thing there. Yeah, familiar. I don't know exactly what it is, but I've never heard of who they're buying. But PayPal, news on that, Brendan. When you have it, let's just throw back to you there when you do have that one. But there is some news on it. Rocket moving to the upside there as well, 28.69 off that 28 bounce. We said maybe we're trying to find some levels. Maybe that's it right there on Rocket. 28 seemed to hold there. Sorry to cut you off there, Brendan, but I just saw the news and wanted to tell you about it from CoinDesk. Apparently. So if you guys find Twitter CoinDesk, you will see the news there. They're buying QRV MPC. Brendan has it now. What's up?
Yeah, my icon is running a little bit slow today, unfortunately, but I can show you this when it pops up. There we go. PayPal to buy crypto custody firm, CURV. That's through CoinDesk, according to Reuters. So yeah, a little bit of a pop there for PayPal, guys.
Yeah, so get your PayPal love, man. PayPal was a call of mine back at the beginning of 2020, before all the pandemic. We're long at $100. I think it was 108 PayPal. That's a great move. So custody, obviously, meaning that they are going to store PayPal for you. PayPal is going to store your crypto for you. So probably just some security measures there. Good move for PayPal, man. I think the more companies that get into crypto, obviously, the better it is for us and for everybody.
Yeah, especially if you're a holder, you're going to be very, very happy with that news. I mean, interesting enough, the only reason I preferred Square is because it actually had a little bit more of a reopen play alongside of it as well in their core business. But PayPal is just as good in that regard. I do want to come back to Rocket. It did make a bit of a wick bottom here, and again, if you're into like trend lines or that sort of thing, sort of throw out these ridiculous dark pool prints, and this was the low right at that 27 mark, and then makes a higher one, 27.60, another one here at 28, so you can sort of see what I'm getting at. It's probably likely to form a wedge if you continue that pattern right around this 29, and if that's going to be the case, this is going to be one of those, one of these spots where it's like push comes to shove. It's like piss or get off the pot or Rocket. And if it does not retest, if it does do that wedge, and throughout lunchtime we're holding maybe between a 28.50 to a 29.50, so we're holding that dollar range for like an hour or so. If it does not break to the highs, I would expect there to be some profit taking. Now keep in mind, there's going to be some shorts that are going to be trying to cover when it gets back down to like that 27 area. So you have to have a little bit of not a damper on your expectations for what that breakdown short is going to look like. But If it does break to that upside, I would wait until the actual high of the day actually goes at 30.40. That 30 break, I think, could be a bit of fool's gold. There could be a lot of people that are going to be shorting off that level, so that's what's going to make the break possibly a solid one on Rocket, because it's already got short interest. Day trader short to look at the same thing I was trying to do here at that 30 range, and then maybe try to repeat that. First things first, it has to consolidate. That's the first task of action here. In case it does, want to be locked and loaded and ready to go. That's CCL. Reversal from the short to the long. It also gave a little bit of a dip. Now, there was some chop at that 27.40 range. That's why I just bought some on a dip, scalped some off for 10 cents, as I'm trying to basically work this. It's forming a wedge as well at the top, it looks like. So every single dip, I want to be a buyer in front of the quarter. If it breaks the quarter, I'm out. I'll wait for VWAP to come in, and I'll scalp 10 cents off of every single dip buy that I do until it either breaks the high or breaks 27.25. So I'm playing within this range here in CCL, at least throughout lunchtime.
Okay, guys. Yeah, so we're trying to keep things a little exciting here for you. Palantir not moving, though, so we can't do much there. Oh, Ether, that's what I want to talk about quickly. Just a quick scalp, man. It got some 22s there. Got some 18s long, out some 22s. It's not doing anything, but we are watching crypto for you here as this is trying to fade out. Look at the NASDAQ, though, coming back to the downside right here in a big way. What's up, Brendo?
Just reading about Novavax. Looks like so the first thing is they had earnings that came out after market yesterday, but it's down significantly today. They're saying looks like FDA emergency use authorization could be pushed back for their COVID-19 vaccine. So day lows here coming for NVAX, guys.
Ooh,
Yuck. Yeah, we don't like NVAX day lows there. But right now, I mean, again, it's really just for me. We're watching Palantir here. And then, you know what? What about NEO now breaking down again? Wow. NEO continues to the downside, 45.20 or so now coming through on NEO. So that stock looking like an ugly one here again. NEO breaking down. What is the bottom here? It's 45. Yeah, so watch out for 45 call on NEO, guys.
So I've been waiting for this one, and it did break 45 and got to like 44.82. So I think you really want to, I'm trying to be as patient as possible because we're not exactly testing lows or dying on the market altogether. But that's the level of support. You'd almost prefer it consolidate at this time of day, but you might not get that shot with NEO. So I think a little nibble is going to have to be in order here, but I would say not too big. Probably like 20% of what I'd like to get to the long side. If it were to break 45, or sorry, break that low of the day, 44.80, like 10% of what your total position would be on that break is worthwhile here. So much like at the top, I'm willing to get some away from that actual stop price, which was 47.50 on the way up. I was willing to start it at that 47.13 teens area. Doing the same thing here on NIO. Did get the reload just now on CCL. So if it goes up to the mid to high 40s, I'll take some off. Buy those continuous dips. If it breaks a quarter, I'm out of that one.
Okay, guys. Yes, I know. We are waiting. Rocket. Oh, you know what we haven't really looked at too much today? How about the weed spaces, guys? Wow. Tilray, I mean, I'm a holder of cannabis as well, and these stocks just keep on going. Tilray, my favorite, we've talked about this again before a few times anyways, is CGC. For longer, that's Canopy. But we do have Tilray right now, and we can just find out what's happening with it as we will go. Where is it right here? There it is. Weed Batman. I like this one. We've had this one basically forever, guys. Okay, so thank you for the super chat one more time. We'll just talk about it right here. Sean, Neil, thank you for all you guys do. Nice return on Rocket. That's amazing. What are your thoughts on Cloudera? Okay, I can look at CLDR. Why not? You give a super chat, you get this. So CLDR right now. Let's go. New York Stock Exchange. $16. Okay. This is just a 1 minute chart. Come on, chart, let's load. We'll see what we're thinking here on Cloudera for you. 16, okay, yeah, actually, so today, nothing. I'm not gonna look at today's chart. This is just a minute chart. Nothing happening on there, but look at the daily chart. I actually, it dipped down, a little bit more work, some due diligence going on here. We can find out if we do like this, but I love this area here. I mean, what a great little find this would have been. You get some consolidation upside right now on Cloudera. So there is a little bit of a spot right there. Moving to the upside, breaks 19. Now comes back down, retests its 50-period moving average. I like it, man. I like Cloudera here, actually. Let's see if there's any reason for this, any catalysts here to go to the upside, because you do have a beautiful bottom. It already hit 15.50. I think you can use 15 as a bottom. Worst case, 14.15. Worst case, 13.50. So I think for $3 downside, you have more than $3 of upside if there are some catalysts. So I like Cloudera here. Good call.
Yeah, good look. And one of the best things I love about that community is I can't count. Well, I can count. Usually, it's at least twice a day where there'll be a stock that's not on our radar. But once it gets brought to attention, it's like, well, that's a good looking setup. It's something that we actually like. So you follow the patterns of what the setups work for you here and there, whether it's long term, whether it's swing, whether it's a day trade. I did just get more on NEO. Now, of course, I wanted to make sure I'm waiting for it to pull back in. I popped like 10, 15 cents in the money, but like I said, take like that maybe 10 to 15% of what you'd like if it broke 45 or 44.80. That's what we've gone ahead and done here, and I want as close to the starting position to be that 45.25 as possible. Right now, sitting on 27s. If it gets to 50s, yeah, I'll scalp some off for like a 20-cent win, and then I am looking for it to get back to VWAP and probably. I'm not saying no farther, but most of it will be out before there if it gets to that range. It had all kinds of chop before. When we shorted into it, long off the bottom will be basically the same kind of concept here with that. I do think we're getting close on to the guest trader of the day.
Yep,
it's almost like somehow I knew it. So did I say guest trader?
You did. That's okay.
My bad. It's, that's an old segment we used to do. We don't do it anymore. But let's go to our guest of the day, Brendan, with the introductions.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, the sector of remote monitoring and remote diagnostics when it comes to medical conditions is going to become more and more prevalent as we continue through this pandemic and people choosing to stay home rather than go into their medical facility to see an actual doctor. Biotricity is a very exciting player in this space. Dr. Waqas Al-Sadiq is chairman, CEO of Biotricity, and is here today to talk to us a little bit about some very exciting technology in this space. So glad to have you on the show today. Let's start off with the company itself. Tell us a little bit about Biotricity and where the idea came from.
No problem. Thank you for having me. So, the inception of Biotricity and how we got started, we really saw a gap in the marketplace. We saw that in the world of diagnostics, most of this stuff was very outsourced and very, in the form of, in terms of devices, was recording. It was not active, it was not intelligent, it was not connected. And so when we started Biotricity, we said we felt the future was going to be in this idea of remote monitoring, remote diagnostics done in the comfort of an individual's home, but bringing in devices that are connected and smart so that they can detect anomalies and transmit that information. So we started out, really built a platform, and at our core, we're a tech company, so we really focus on developing all of the tech ourselves. So everything that we have built and we've put out into the market, from hardware to software, has all been built by us. And so we built this platform, and then we've applied it in the cardiac space because it's the #1 killer. And so we are focused now in the world of cardiac diagnostics and cardiac monitoring to help cardiac patients get monitored and collect their information over long periods of time from the comfort of their home to accelerate diagnosis.
Let's define this a little bit, I think, so people are, understand what we're talking about here. If somebody has an existing heart issue, or maybe is, wondering if they have an existing heart issue, tell us exactly how this process works. They go into their doctor, they're given this device to take home, and then data is collected?
Yeah, so let's kind of go through a couple different scenarios, right? So we've got, in the world of cardiac diagnostics, people get confused because we talk a lot about heart data, and especially now with the consumer devices like Apple Heart Watch or Samsung Watch, there's a lot of knowledge about the general space. So let's bifurcate it to your point, and so that people understand. So the doctor's not going to really cut you open based on what an Apple Watch is going to say, right? So our core product, our main product offering right now is BioFlux, which is a diagnostic device. And what this does is, if you're complaining of something and you're a high-risk patient, and a high-risk patient is someone who's got other conditions, they've got a family history of cardiac disease, maybe they're a bit older, so they have different comorbidities, as the lingo is in healthcare. And they would go to the doctor, and I'm complaining of palpitation, I'm complaining of something. The doctor says, okay, let me give you a device to collect your data. Once I receive the data, I'm going to do a diagnosis, and I'm either going to prescribe a pharmacology or a prescription for you to take, or I'm going to do a procedural work. And so in that world, there's basically two types of product. There are Holter monitors, which are basically recording your device. So it's a patch you put on yourself. You go home for a week, you record all your data, you peel it off, you mail it back. 3 weeks later, you get a report. And that's great for low-risk patients. What we do is high-risk patients. And that is the same kind of concept. We give the device to the patient. They go home for a week. It's collecting data, but the device is smart. So what the BioFlux is doing is, if it detects an arrhythmia, if it detects a heart attack, if it detects a ventricular issue or an atrial issue or an arrhythmia, it's going to transmit that information to a call center where you have nurses that look at that data. They determine if it's an emergency and they can get the patient in. So we actually end up saving the patient's life and accelerating the path to procedure. And then the second use case of where this device is used is to what you were kind of talking about earlier. So you've got somebody who's diagnosed. Now, 6 months later, they're feeling something again. The doctor's not sure. He would want to use our device again because it's connected, and if there's a scenario of an emergency, they can deal with it. But what they're going to do is they're going to use the device again to see, hey, has something changed in the patient, and do I need to make an adjustment to the prescription? And so that's where the BioFlux lives. Now, at Biotricity, we've got other products coming in, and the idea is to go from a real-time, high-end diagnostics, which is what we are in right now. And there's 4 companies in the world that do it. We are one of them. So it's a unique space to be. And it's $1 billion market for half of the United States. Half of the rest of the half of the United States isn't even aware that this technology exists. And then we're moving into the recording. So the Holter monitor, which is the product that we applied for FDA back at the end of December. We expect that clearance to hopefully come in by mid this year and launch the product in Q2. So that will take us into that lower risk category, like I was just talking about.
Dr. Waqas Al-Siddiq, an interesting topic here, founder of Biotricity. We're talking about remote diagnosis and remote monitoring then after the fact of patients with heart troubles. Now, let's maybe take a second here and talk a little bit about the difference between and the significance, therefore, of the ability to achieve these results on a remote basis instead of the patient having to actually go into a facility and do these tests, at an actual location. I mean, obviously a big step forward when it comes to how this process is done.
Yes, and I would add a couple things. First of all, it's very good for the patient and it's safer for the patient. So every study has shown that things done at the home, patients are more comfortable. They feel in their own environment. They have their own food and whatnot. The other thing is speed to diagnosis. So if you don't have a connected device and you've got to wait until that data is downloaded, and then you've got to wait for the doctor to collect that downloaded data and interpret it and analyze it, your time to response in terms of figuring out what's going on is very long. And so real-time diagnostics is really the future. And I think COVID, we were already moving in that direction. I think what happened with COVID has created a bigger awareness and a higher acceptance rate, because you can, in the case of COVID, you can self-isolate, right? You're getting a device. You're not worried about the fact that no one can see your data. The data is being collected. If there is a problem, the device will alert the appropriate people, and you're in the hospital when you need to be. So I think the future is definitely there. And I think the future is going to be where you're going to your doctor after you've done your diagnosis at your home, after you've collected your information, after you've done your blood work. And you're really going to the doctor to do the procedural work, not to go in and say, hi, I'm feeling this. Can you run all of these tests? I think the future is really that you're going to be able to do all of that in the comfort of your home.
You mentioned it briefly earlier, but let's talk a little bit about future products here and future opportunities when it comes to the ongoing monitoring of these problems.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think, that's a component that a lot of people have not really understood about Biotricity. So we are a technology company, and everything that we do is based on 3 key things, right? One is we build the technology all ourselves. The second is our business model is to provide the technology to the physician so that they can deliver this to the patient, or that the patient can get the technology from us. But the reimbursement and the business model is all based around insurance. So the model should be that the physician is essentially billing to insurance, and we are collecting a reoccurring technology fee. So we did that with BioFlux, which is high-end diagnostics. Now our next product, which we're waiting for FDA clearance, like I said, we expect this to happen in early Q2. This is for the Holter market. So earlier I was talking about how you want to have real-time monitoring because that's what's safer for high-risk patients. Well, for low-risk patients, you can just record the data. You don't need to have real-time monitoring. It's more expensive and it's cheaper on the system. So that is where the BioTray product, the Holter monitor that we're developing, and it's the same business model. It's going to be prescription-based, given to the physician. He uses it on low-risk patients and then collects reimbursement. And then we have another product which we are launching to the consumers, which is taking the BioFlux technology, simplifying it, putting it into the hands of the individual, a patient themselves, which they can get directly from us. And what that will do is, in between doctor visits, or once you've been diagnosed with cardiac disease, this is like an Apple Watch, but a lot more sophisticated because you're using diagnostic technology and is designed to really help you manage your cardiac lifestyle. Because and I don't know how many of you are familiar, but the Fitbit watches and these other solutions, they are collecting data not in a continuous way. They're collecting data in moments in time. So you have to open up the app, you have to hold your hand there. So you're getting small snippets of data. But for cardiac patients, you need long-term data, and it needs to be continuously monitored. And you can't hold your watch for 24 hours. And so that's where we created the BioHeart product. And that's really designed to put the technology that we've developed from a diagnostic and from a medical perspective into the hands of the patient. So that's our roadmap for this year. And our focus is to continue really going deeper in the space, but always staying true to the fact that we're in remote monitoring. It's got to be medically relevant, clinically relevant. It's got to be high-end technology, and it's got to be put into a model where we are doing reoccurring insurance-based reimbursement.
Dr. Waqas Al-Siddiq is chairman, CEO, and founder of Biotricity. We actually have a couple of questions coming in from the audience that I want to make sure that we take a second to get to. But before we do that, currently listed on the OTC markets, does the company have any plans to uplist to a bigger one?
Yes, I mentioned this on our earnings call. NASDAQ and New York Stock Exchange, a national listing is a priority for the company. It's a personal priority of mine. It is definitely something that we are chasing. We believe that we have a very exciting year ahead of us with other product launches, with our continued growth, and the uplisting to a national exchange is the number one priority from my perspective, while we execute on these other items. And I think it is going to get accelerated because as we are executing so well on the company side, and as people are learning more about Biotricity and we are trying to get a bigger audience for the company, I think all of these things will work together to accelerate our path. But it is definitely a priority for the year.
A question from the audience here. They want to know, basically, this is from Carlos. Thank you, Carlos. They want to know, basically, a lot of doctors are getting to that point, or maybe a little bit older now, and not necessarily familiar with technology. Has there been any challenges when it comes to maybe training some of these doctors on your technology?
It's a very good point. And so doctors, the way we've done is we've really focused on simplification, and we really work with doctors to simplify the workflow. So a lot of what we do is actually quite similar to what they were doing with the Holter. In fact, in some ways, I would say it's almost easier, because traditionally what a doctor was doing is he was buying Holter devices. He was hooking those Holter devices up to a patient. Then he was bringing that back, getting his staff to download the data, and then putting that into a software system and analyzing. So a lot of that stuff has now been, it's automated with our system. And a lot of the work in terms of the hookup, collecting the data, downloading the data is all gone. It's all automated now with our system. And ultimately the doctor is getting a report through the portal, and doctors that are having difficulty, we can fax it to them. They can download the reports. Their nurses can provide the reports. So we've worked very, very hard to simplify that entire process.
Interesting space, and one that will continue to, I can only imagine, become more prevalent and more important as time goes on. Dr. Waqas Al-Siddiq, chairman, founder, and CEO of Biotricity. Pleasure. Best of luck.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me.
There we go, guys. A little look at Biotricity. Currently, as the doctor told us, they're listed on the OTC markets, but definitely plans for an uplisting in the near term, guys.
Awesome guests as always, and I'm waiting for one of these days where we'll throw the daily chart up of one of our guests and then not actually see a double or a triple up in the short term here. But fantastic and very well spoken. And thank you guys so much for your questions as well, because that was a very, very good question, and I felt like it was good to get that answer. A few doctor friends who are on the I guess it's the south side of being too old, and it's always good to see that they are going to have a good ability to implement their product. I want to come back. I know we only have seconds to go here, guys, before we get out of here. I know we have to go to earnings, but NEO does test down. Remember, I talked about that 44.80 bottom. It does test to the low, able to pick up some shares right down here around 45, get the average price into that low 45 range. And as it comes back up, and I have gotten my price to that 03s, I do start taking it out, starting the scalp at 20 cents. And then, of course, every 10 to 15 cents up from there on the way to VWAP is the plan. If it takes out low of the day, I'll be out of it. But we do have to get to a few earnings plays. Let's go over to Brennan.
Yeah, real quick, guys. We're almost out of time here, so let's throw it up, have a look at what's coming up. Yeah, as we said, we're getting to the end, but still some recognizable names on here.
Yeah, I mean, Fubo is an interesting one because of the moves it's been having. I think Dollar Tree gets a lot of that money, hopefully, from the U.S. side of things. We've talked about Nordstrom's. I thought American Eagle, maybe that's tomorrow aftermarket, but it should be before. And then, yeah, so a lot like Ross. I mean, just a lot of clothing stores and things, Urban Outfitters. I don't know. I think we'll just play the earnings and play how it moves. We didn't touch Target really today, so we'll see if any of these have some moves. But I do like AEO. We've talked about that for a possible squeeze, guys.
Yeah, we talked about that. Look, I mean, Target can absolutely crush today. You have to watch out for some of those retail names. Urban Outfitters, Nordstrom's worth the watch for me. Before we get out of here, we do have one more thing that we're going to get to, and maybe not just yet. I don't want to rush you there.
That's okay. I can go over here.
But I know what it is, and I want to make sure we get to what national day it is before we get out of here. And you guys want to see Ms. V one more time.
She's ready. What's up, V?
Thank you, guys. By the way, I want to mention that I'm so happy to see on the chat that some of you logging from multiple accounts just to give us more likes. Guys, thank you so much, and you're the best. For those who forgot to give us a like, please do it right now so we can get to 4,000 at least. Guys, have a great rest of the day. Catch us trading live tomorrow at 8:30, and happy National Banana Cream Pie Day, everyone.
Yep. Sign me up for that. Like the banana cream pie. Very, very tasty treat there. Pecan pie, banana cream pie, all of that. It's been forever since I've had some, but lemon meringue pie. I like the creamy pies. They're not too bad. Maybe a cappuccino or something with it. There's 4,000 likes, though, as Palantir's still ripping up, but I like banana cream pie. You guys?
I'm not a huge cream pie. I mean, look, let's be realistic. I'm going to eat it if you put it in front of me, but I'm not a huge fan of it altogether. I saw someone mention in the chat there, Snowflake does report tomorrow. I thought it was aftermarket. We usually put on the ones that are going to be aftermarket today or pre-market tomorrow, so I'm pretty sure that's aftermarket tomorrow, which is why it wouldn't be on that list, but we'll correct it if that's not true. Brendan, cream pie for you?
Just double checking on, yes, of course. Just double checking on Snowflake. Yeah, it is aftermarket tomorrow, guys. So that one will be on the board tomorrow. So the board shows you what's coming up aftermarket tonight, and then before we start again tomorrow. So Snowflake on, what is tomorrow? Wednesday, guys.
Yeah, and look, after what we've seen with C3AI and Lemonade and some of these recent IPOs, of course, we're going to be interested in Snowflake when the earnings do come through. You know it's going to be a big one, but you also know it's past 11:30. Thank you guys so much for the support and all of the love. Going to go down the line because we got to get out of here. For Miss V, Blair, you're doing a fantastic job as always. My man, Sean Katina. For Brennan Wickens, and what a great guest we had today as well. I'm Neil Roberts. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Trader TV Live. We'll see you tomorrow, guys.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.